beside her and guide her through the night with a light from above. From the mountain to the prairie to the ocean, white with gold. God bless America, my heart beats for.
During the Great War, that would be the World War I as it became known later on. Irving Berlin wrote a song he named God Bless America. You just heard it right then. It laid low until the 1930s. And that version of it, that was Kate Smith. She was charged with singing that song, and she sang it first on her radio show about 1938-39. That one was from 1943 on her show at that point in time. Good morning, I'm Rayford Brown.
I'm Chris Marks.
I'm Lee Veras.
And I'm the donkey man in the house. Yeehaw.
It's a good thing you had me mic
Her later recordings put it as a popular choice for all to hear. It went way up and stayed way up for decades and decades. And about 30 years after she died, just a few years ago, several recordings of songs she sang in the early 30s were deemed racist. And in death, she has been ostracized. The songs were the signs of the times as she sang back in the 20s and 30s, nothing more. But the public outcry, especially with two sports teams, has made her a villain. At the time, she was a young singer, paid to perform whatever she was charged to sing. I ask you, is it fair? Is it fair to look back at everybody's early life and decide this is the way they are? Even though at the time it was the norm. Look at your grandparents, look at your great-grandparents, look at your parents, look at yourself in your early years.
Yeah, I was a hellion. Look at me now.
You
I'm
haven't
so
changed.
sweet.
I wouldn't have never
I'm so
guessed.
sweet now.
Oh my goodness.
You know, and that's one of the bad things. Good morning. It is Independence Day. Happy 4th of July.
Also, officially, no King's Day.
Yeah, they be gone. Officially.
Officially.
Back on this date, the 4th of July, the year was 1776, the Declaration of Independence adopted by the Second Continental Congress, calling for the American colonies to secede from Great Britain. A proclamation now commemorated as Independence Day here in these good old United States of America. Happy 4th from the folks here at Live and Local Real Talk. We do appreciate you. And all the folks, y'all coming in on a day that's a holiday.
Well, it's a wonderful holiday, and I know a lot of people are celebrating by staying at home, listening to the show, and hopefully calling us in and
Sleeping.
Yeah.
Oh, I noticed, like all through the day and early evening, I get notifications when somebody logs on to one of our videos or likes it. And a lot of people wait till evening time to watch the show. And thank you for that.
My wife does.
Well, they have a chance to scream at us without us screaming back at them.
Oh, well. And I found out
true.
something very fascinating about this show.
What's that?
What's that?
I stopped last week at one of my favorite restaurants, Madison's.
Yeah.
I love
And I was
Madison's.
sitting in there eating and just by myself. I'm picking on Lynn and TJ and all like we always do. And I got up and two gentlemen were sitting at the bar.
They recognize your voice.
I walked up and the guy looked at me and he was pointing at me when I was coming. And Lynn was looking at me and said, what
have you
he
done?
said, you're the donkey man, ain't you? I said, and usually I pick on him and say, nah, I just sound like him.
Yeah.
But no, and I looked and I dropped my shoulders. I said, I sound like Ron White. I said, yeah, you got me. You caught the donkey. And they started talking to me and they talked about how much they loved the show and how much a lot of Sneeze Ferry people really love the show.
Those are my people.
Yeah, I mean, they really love
From
it.
He was born over on Marines aboard what is now Camp Lejeune.
But one of them his name was David. The other one was Mike. David
and Mike, good morning.
David,
Nice.
last name is
David
Hudson.
and Mike.
He got the naming them off. Well, he said when he mentioned, and I can't remember if it was his uncle or whatever, Sam Hudson. I said, yeah, Sam was
Sam.
police
Really?
chief when I was a little
Wow.
boy in Richlands. He said, he was.
Sam?
Yeah. He was.
Well, I know Sam. You Sam?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
I remember the
And
Sam.
so the cool thing about Sam, when I was a coon hunter, and Sam had permission where Marsock and Stone Bay is now was nothing. It's swamp.
Mhm.
And he had permission to go in there and hunt. And if he invited you, you going. And I told him a story about Sam, and Sam, we would go in there, and my dog treed 2 coons one night, and I'm looking up there, and and I shot one out. And
What'd you do with it?
Oh, I sold him to the coon man right there in Verona.
There you go.
And I said, wait a minute, let me get going. And Sam hollered, says, no, you got to leave him for seed. Now, coons were selling for right at $30 a piece at the time.
Oh, really?
And that's
What?
$30 more standing there looking at me. And I got so mad, he would not
For
let me
about
shoot.
2 cents.
Yeah. I mean, he got, oh, Lord, I got hot. I said, Sam, that's $30 more. Son, we got to leave the seed. We've got to leave the seed. And I'll never forget that about Sam. And he was also a good gunsmith. He fixed my daddy's shotgun
I
one time.
remember,
for me.
yeah.
He worked on a 9mm Smith that I had. One of the first ones that it was the first 9mm that I had. So, he was having problems the throating.
Okay.
All the hollow points would not chamber.
Right.
And it was a malfunction that the Smith & Wesson folks did not take into consideration because everybody shot hardball ammo, but they did not always chamber the hollow points. And no, I use hollow points, them dumb bullets because they kill better.
My poor old daddy.
They save people's lives.
Yeah.
Honestly.
But my poor old
I
daddy,
like
he'd lay
you
his
putting it that
shotgun.
way better.
He'd put his shotgun up on the dog box and forget about it. And all of a sudden the dogs would be going down.
Uh-huh.
He'd jump in the truck. Of course, you know what happened to the
There's a
shotgun.
shotgun out there, bang, 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 on the
Yeah.
ground.
And so he broke the stock.
Mm.
And Sam fixed it. And Sam passed away years later. And I remember he broke the stock again. And I took it to Paul France, the late Paul France. He lived right out there at Captain's Lake.
Mhm.
And Paul fixed it. And I went and got it. And Paul looked at me and says, Timmy, please don't shoot this gun. I said, man, it's a good bird gun. He said, don't shoot this gun. He said, we can't do no more to the stock. He said, if you shoot this gun, it may fall apart. So we just put it up there.
There you go.
But it was an old Western pump
Good old
he
relic.
bought at Sears and Roebuck
Yeah.
when he first started working there.
Son of a gun.
But yeah.
All right, today, you guys, it's a fun day. It's a day to celebrate, of course, but we celebrate for a reason, what it is. What
That's right.
Just don't forget what the reason is for our celebrations, and party responsibly. All right. Let's all be safe this weekend on the highway, the waterways, and the beaches. We got this tropical disturbance #1 down there, and it's moving. It moved south a little bit.
Yeah.
Along the the Florida coast yesterday. I said, "What did he get wrong?" Good gracious, Drew probably called it in, but it's turned around. It started back north. It's up around the Georgia line now, North Carolina. I mean the Florida Georgia line. So we're going to have some rain, and rain is not going to be a hurricane or anything like that. It's just going to be rain, but rain brings along slick roads. People, slow your butts down. Okay, a little bit of water on those roads will make them slick as a baby's rear end. It's just the way it is. We're going to have rip currents along the beaches.
Yes.
Y'all, they're going to be there. It's a fact, Jack. So find the place where there are lifeguards and look up there and say, yeah, that guy looks like looks like they could probably take care of me if something happens. So go swimming there. If there's no lifeguard, if you insist on going into the ocean and there's no lifeguards there, find some surfers where they hang out. Those guys rescue a lot of people every year.
Amen.
They got the board. They're already out there. They don't have to swim out there. They're already there where you might get into trouble. And they'll help you back ashore, okay? That's the other one. Boaters,
Talked to you yesterday.
rule 1, slow down.
Yeah. I just stay my butt out of the water.
And if you're out there at the beach and you look out there and you see a big old dark spot in the water and it's kind of moving a little bit, it is not a submarine.
No, it's not.
Unless you're drinking in Myrtle Beach. heavily. It's a school of fish. We got a lot of bait fish in the water. The water is very warm. There are going to be schools of bait fish. The little silver sides, the menhaden. If you see pelicans diving, it's going to be menhaden. If you see seagulls diving, it's going to be, or the little Spanish birds, we call them, small seagull, it's going to be silver sides, small minnows.
Okay.
Either one of them is going to attract a bigger breed of fish. The bigger breed of fish is going to come along and attract the huge, big old
Charles.
Dum, dum,
dum,
dum, dum.
dum. And they're going to be there. Do not swim amongst those fish. You are the best looking piece of food in that school for jaws.
Just if you go to any beaches where I'm at and you see me come walking on the water screaming
Hey, there's a
and
shark.
heading for shore, get out of the water.
Is he walking on the water? Oh,
She
Yeah.
will be walking on the water.
Yeah.
Sharks can swim in very shallow water.
Yes,
they will
they
chase
can.
fish up to 1 foot of water. They will beach themselves almost. When the wave goes out, they may be stranded on the beach until the next wave comes in.
Yeah.
If you want to, and they get stranded up there, you can go out there and grab them by the tail and may as well grab it. They probably won't. They can turn their entire head around and bite their own tail. I got video of it, saw it happen.
Who would want to do that?
Well, we'll talk to my
You
friend
would
down
be
there at Carolina Beach, Andy Airboy. He did it.
Lord.
He called big on, had about a 6-footer on the line, worked him for about an hour and a half, all on video because I was shooting it, and got the thing up on the beach. And they went over there and cut the line, the hook.
Yep.
And then the next thing he did, well, this thing is beached now. So it goes back there and grabs him by the tail, starts pulling him into the ocean. That shark turned around on video. This is not a lie. This is proven.
See,
On
that's like
video,
this,
that fish turns around and snaps at Andy. Andy goes straight up in the air, levitates, walks across clean air, not a thing up there, and got down on the beach
I
again.
told you, you can walk on water, walk on air when there's a shark around.
That was not a fishtail. That was a fact because I got it caught on video.
Phew.
and you're still fishing. You're going to catch a shark.
Yeah, sooner or later. You are.
Yeah.
If you only knew, you could go out there in the water. If you only knew what was swimming all around you, and not necessarily, I'm not saying sharks, but there's all sorts of habitat in the ocean that are swimming with you when you're out there. So
That's their home.
I hope I did not ruin it for anyone.
I used to love to go at the pier and you'd see a dark mass coming.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
And
Get them
it was
gotcha
blue.
bugs out.
Yes.
Yeah, it was bluefish.
Oh,
And you,
Mhm.
buddy, you were slinging just as hard as you could go.
Fresh
catching
blues are
the-
good,
Oh,
son.
yes, they
Ah.
are.
They're fine. Fine eating.
They're greasy.
We talked extensively yesterday. We had some folks in here talking about boating safety and the dangerous conditions involving boating. One thing we barely touched on, which today is really important, boating after dark.
Oh, yeah.
Most folks spend time on the water during daylight hours. That's when they can see everything. That's when they go fishing. But there is always, at least once a year, when the fireworks go up, folks kind of want to go down the river and take a look-see at it. Yeah, that's fine. You go down there at daylight. There are always things that can happen by day or night. As it is driving at nighttime on the highway, there are additional hazards out there that can just pop up and they can be very deadly. Last week in Hilton Head Island near Charleston, a boat, 4 persons on board, along with 2 dogs on board, was out for a night cruise. The boat collided with a channel marker and overturned. 2 people were found in the water and were treated for injuries, a man and a woman in their 70s, and the 2 dogs were trapped in the overturned boat underneath. Their bodies were recovered by divers. The man that was at the helm was one of those who was killed. The 2 were in their 70s, a man and wife. Visibility is minimal at night. You can't see but so far along the water, especially. Water looks like it's black at nighttime. Doesn't have any blue to it, doesn't have any green to it. It's black. That's just the way it is. Boaters do not normally run with headlights or spotlights. I hope not. Counting on markers with lights to mark the channel. Nighttime collisions with pilings or other boats result when boaters are running too fast and as often involve operators not familiar with the area you don't have any clue where you are or what you're doing, or have limited nighttime experience on the water. With a lot of these people tonight, no doubt, taken to the waters to see fireworks displays here, there, or wherever, make sure your navigation lights are working, number one. So that's not for your benefit, so you can see. That's so other people can see you. Those red and green things, make sure you've got them on. Make sure you have a good spotlight. And make sure that you assign a responsible person to be a lookout. We talked about that yesterday. And that you are running at a reduced speed. I don't care if you've got one of those rocket ships that run 70 miles an hour on the water. That's not the time to do it, is at nighttime. It's 70 miles an hour, 50 miles an hour, 40 miles an hour. You can come upon somebody else that's not going to be running that fast before you know what happened. Okay? Not all channel markers have lights on them. Day markers, for instance, are on charts, though, and appear on modern GPS screens, but aren't always lit up. Pay attention to your GPS, your lookout, and others on your boat about your GPS and your radios. Make sure you understand how they work. Now, I don't mean you can turn that GPS on and yeah, you can see all the routes. This at nighttime, as it is in your car, those GPS are backlit, and unless you have it in automatic or unless you have it so you can turn that backlight down to a reasonable level, you got what we call night blindness. Mm-hmm. You ain't going to see nothing but that. You won't see that marker that you're getting ready to hit. Pay attention, though, to the GPS and to all your surroundings. Don't go having somebody shining a bright light. Don't have any white lights on in your boat. If you got to have lights on in your boat, have red lights on in your boat. They don't blind you. GPS units have that brightest screens you've ever seen. Why? Because you want to see them when you're normally on the water during the high noon time when the sun is out. Your lookout should call out any upcoming structures or other boats. Have a lookout, preferably one who's maybe a boater. That would be great. If not, somebody who's experienced, somebody who's definitely responsible and absolutely sober. Yeah. Have them looking. Don't have them engaging in conversation. Keep conversation to a minimal until you get to where you're going. Okay? Don't get distracted. Distracted driving on the water is as bad as distracted driving on the highway. I prefer a lookout who has his own boat somewhere. Yeah. Somebody, or at least somebody who's been with me on mine, and is going to be standing up there forward and will yell. You got to be heard over the noise, over the engine and everything else is out there. Don't yell forward. Yell back to the captain of the boat. He can't hear you when you're talking to the gods in the 400 miles away. You got to talk to him. I just don't want to have to read about you on Monday.
Yeah, it's interesting when yesterday you made a point when the Coast Guard Auxiliary is in, boats do not have brakes on them, a lot of the cars now have those brake sensors that you're getting too close, it breaks itself.
Yep, boats don't.
So, keep that in mind. That's safe for us.
And just when you're out there, always remember, just like Fred yesterday said from Coast Guard Auxiliary, it's like when you're driving one of those little boats or a jet ski, it's like a motorcycle running up against a tractor trailer. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry. You lose. You're done. Mm-hmm.
So you're done. That's why you don't horse around.
Pull out in front of an 18-wheeler that's running 55 miles an hour on a highway. You pull out in front of him on a crotch rocket, and you know what? You better be getting on it. Because when he runs over you,
that's it.
Yeah.
Greasy spot.
Yeah. I was always I did a lot of floundering when I was young.
You understand? Nighttime is dark.
Nighttime is dark. I had a small boat, and I always had a fear in the back of my mind all the time. And I would go to Cedar Point and put in and go around Coast Guard, around the Coast Guard, or I would go put in down here, and I'd go up right around Camp Lejeune where the sewer pipes would come out, but I weren't never far from home now. And going out didn't bother me. I would go out at dusk.
Yep.
Coming back in would bother me. And you know the scariest part coming back in Ottawa County, where I was the scariest at, was the railroad trestle. That always, for some reason, it always bothered me.
You thought a train was going to fall?
No, it just because it was always left open.
Yeah, right.
But it always bothered me there, and I don't know why. But now I took my little old Sears and Roebuck game fishing with my little 15-horse Evinrude, and I was easing through there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was always scared at night, but I loved flounder gigging. I had some good times.
For those interested in fireworks tonight, thing that because I was talking to my daughter in Matthews the other day, she goes, "Oh no, we can go out and watch the fireworks on the base. If you do not have an ID card, you are not getting on the base, and no one else in that car is getting on the base
without ID.
Without an ID. So you'll have to enjoy the ones at Onslow Pines
There's
Park.
nothing wrong with that.
No. Holly Ridge is having a 3-day festival.
Oh my!
Swansboro.
Surf City was last night.
Was it? Yeah, Swansboro has theirs over the water.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of options, but please don't try to go on the military installation.
No, just don't tie up the traffic and try to get on there.
It's not going to happen.
And don't do like you drive in theaters and put 4 guys in the trunk.
No,
They're going to catch you.
Yeah, they will.
They're going to catch you.
They
At some
search
point in time, they're going to catch you.
I went yesterday and I got 2 places, and I got searched more thoroughly yesterday than I have
you should.
in a long time.
Yeah.
And I told the guy, I said, the Sentry, he said, man, I said, you can have the truck. I said, there ain't nothing in it. I said, there's a sandwich in there in the console. If you want it, you eat it. And went into Stone Bay and got searched there. Marsac, I had a pass. But yeah, you are very, very, you're subject to anything.
I hope so.
Oh yeah.
We don't want any homes tonight that are not fireworks.
I don't. The least amount of place that I get searched or bothered is the Sneeze Ferry Gate, and I have a D-Bids card.
I need to try to go through there.
But if you don't have a pass, you might not.
She wants to be searched.
Oh, you know,
You need to take a trip.
I bet he'd have been good looking to you. Oh, he'd have been glad to search you. Shit. Yeah, I go through the Sneeze Ferry Gate.
Oh, mercy.
Speaking of fireworks at Onslow Pines Park, the festivities start at 3:00 today. Fireworks are at 9.
Yeah. When it gets dark.
Yes, and there's lots of food vendors. There is some amusement rides, and lots of time.
I need
Fun.
I need a food truck to park right out here so I don't have to drive anywhere.
Let me know,
Go.
and I will definitely drive by.
So if you want to share your plans with us today on the show, give us a call.
Yeah.
910-333-0139.
Hey, we want to know what
Yeah.
you're going to do. Also, what does this day mean to you? You know, do you have any thoughts back? I mean, I know we all studied it at one point in time. How many of us remember anything about it? It's a different story. But what are your thoughts today? Given high alert that we're on right now, number one. We're different times, but we've been in this different times since 2001. No, 2002. We've been here every 4th of July since then. We've given. Okay, we've got to be careful now. This is a high alert situation. We've got a bunch of Yemenis, whatever, out there running around. We've got to be careful. We need to know. Be extra alert. Keep your head on the swivel, as one of our hams, he was also a former cop, said last night on the net. He said, wherever you're going, just keep your head on the swivel. Pay attention to your surroundings and see what's happening. And if you get anxious, then do something. If you don't do something, say something.
From the comfort of my house.
Let me ask you all three something. What do you say today? It's a holiday. What do you say?
Happy Independence Day.
Yeah, Independence Day.
Yeah, that's what I said.
Instead of 4th of July, Independence Day.
Yeah.
I can't haul a permitted load today and all that good stuff. Can't
For
work.
those that don't know why, it was actually done in a back room on July 2nd.
Yep, right.
Was when it was signed.
Well, And the Constitution, all of it wasn't signed at the same time.
No.
Yeah, some people weren't all there. I mean,
Right.
Yeah.
kind of like Congress today. Some of them aren't all there.
They ain't all there when they're there.
Well,
That too.
kind of hard when someone's standing up to for 8 hours, 35 minutes. Right?
What happened to the bathroom?
He didn't need it, but the people that were paid to keep sitting in the seats behind him to make sure there were people sitting in the seats behind him, they kept rotating, and they would.
I probably went out to puke. I didn't watch it, or I would have.
What?
Hakeem's record-breaking.
Oh, yeah.
record-breaking
That was
speech
all
yesterday.
just to.
No,
It was to break a record.
That was, well, he did the same thing back when there was the election for Speaker of the House. And remember that long, oh, God.
I just thought it was. My personal. I thought it was funny that he had AIDS, so he would be talking like this
Sure.
to somebody
Mhm.
because nobody was in there listening, and then an aide would hand him a notebook with a new subject.
Yeah.
Well, that's like when it went from the House to the Senate, the bill, and the Senate got it, and then the Democratic Party said, "We want the entire bill read."
Yeah.
It's just another
Yeah.
ploy to kill time,
That's
to
okay.
make things aggravating. And they had clerks that took turns and read all 877 pages. But do you think everyone was there in attendance?
I would have locked the doors from the outside.
There was most
I'll
of
teach you a
your
lesson
House
very quickly.
representatives were off in their office or out having lunch or out shopping, doing whatever they do when they don't want to be there. They weren't sitting in there listening to it.
Now, we have read search warrants to walls before. No one was there. But we had to read the search warrant, and we posted a copy of the search warrant after we searched the house. That's the way it was. But we read search warrant. This is not the way Congress is supposed to be. You're supposed to read everything to people, individuals. So,
I got an interesting lesson yesterday, and I'm 64 years old, but
child.
Yeah.
a baby. I've heard that so much.
Yeah, yeah.
About baby. I even say that now. I get to say that now to these 30-some-year-olds. You're just a baby. and I say other things too, but I haul heavy equipment, wide load equipment. Now we have 3 holidays during the year in North Carolina where you cannot haul wide load equipment, oversized load equipment. And the holidays are Independence Day, Thanksgiving, and Christmas. Used to be a lot more. Okay, what we were trying to find out, noon the day before, you have to stop hauling wide load equipment, oversized, whatever, if anything permitted, you cannot haul noon the day before the holiday. And you can't start back until noon the day after the holiday. Okay. Our problem was, it being Independence Day, could we start back Saturday at noon, or did we have to wait till Monday at noon? Well, I made a lot of phone calls. There's a lot of controversy over it. Since Independence Day fell on a Friday, I cannot haul that piece of equipment until Monday at noon because DOT does
Lord
not
mercy.
recognize Saturday and Sunday as a weekday. They only recognize 5 days a week. Just like Thanksgiving. When Thanksgiving comes, I have to stop that Wednesday at noon, the day before, but I can start back that Friday and go through the weekend. And so we were having, and I finally
So
got
they say under normal conditions, normal Saturdays and Sundays, you can haul it.
my permit says I can haul 7 days a week. I mean,
I don't understand after, like today, this Friday,
Mhm.
I don't understand them not allowing it on Saturday and Sunday if Saturday and Sunday are normal days.
I don't need
Saturday and Sunday is a weekend holiday, but
Right.
I mean, it's because, but no, the day.
any day.
Are they going to give postmen off tomorrow, Lee? Do
No.
I get my mail tomorrow?
Yes.
Yeah, you will.
Today
Well,
is
I'm
the
sorry.
holiday.
Then I've just rested my case, haven't I, Your Honor?
But that's North Carolina DOT specified to
North
me.
Carolina DOT, and it's a.
But you'll get your packages today.
But that's just North Carolina, right?
North
Is what you're
Carolina.
saying.
Well, all states have their own date. Just like South Carolina has 6 holidays you can't drive. North Carolina used to have 6.
One
They
of theirs
come
is
down
the
to-
first day of deer season, probably. Some places that is a holiday.
I mean, at one time, even when Martin Luther King Day came out, North Carolina placed that as a no-haul holiday. You know, you had at least 6. You had all Memorial Day, Labor Day, 4th of July, Christmas, New Year's,
New Year's.
Thanksgiving, and Martin Luther King Day. Couldn't haul. But they've North Carolina come all down to just 3, which is fine. But South Carolina's different. But yeah, that was a piece of information I didn't know, and I called Sheriff Chris Thomas. I said, "Do you know?" Because see, all my old DOT guys are long retired. I don't know any of the new guys, and I would like to get their phone number. And because used to, I could call North Carolina Motor Carriers Division, and I had a lady. Her name was Teresa. If I had a question, she'd give me the answer. Well, she's retired. Now, when you call, you don't get a live body. We'll call you back in 24 hours.
Great.
And,
Too late.
Yeah, too late. Now, I'm already done. But it was just a little old piece of useless information that I learned. You learn something every day. And but it was
Remember
just, I
when
want
you
to pass that
used to
out.
call information on the telephone?
Yeah, you got a live person.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I did one time? My buddy and I, we're in Florida. We're trying to go cook some dinner. We called information and asked him for a recipe for, I forgot what it was, lasagna or something.
Mhm.
And she gave it to us.
Did she?
She did. She thought that was the cutest thing going. Just a couple of young guys.
Well,
High pressure will hang in through the holiday weekend with a frontal boundary stalling off the southeast coast. For boaters, that means pretty much good weather offshore, at least for today and tomorrow. Northerly winds today, 5 to 10 knots, becoming easterly in the afternoon. Seas 3 to 4 feet every 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers of light chop. Easterly winds on Saturday, 10 to 15. Seas 3 to 5, 7-second intervals. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. And on Sunday, don't kick up a little bit. Winds out of the southeast at 15, but the seas 4 to 6. Sounds and rivers a moderate chop. Now, that disturbance out there that we're talking about is called disturbance number 1. There is a 60% chance of cyclone formation in the next 7 days. Not likely, but there's a possibility. Hopefully, by the next few days, that thing will be going. It's on a northeastward course right now. It is off the Georgia, Florida line. It is still in the ocean. It is dropping some rain, and we're gonna have some rain. Hopefully, that's all we will get.
Yep.
It's got no real wind or anything associated with it. It's just a mess, a massive mess.
It's a mess.
It's a mess.
how much of a mess?
Yeah. Well, we could get up to 2 inches of rain on Sunday.
Great.
Sunday and
Well,
Monday, rather.
today we have a slight chance of showers and thunderstorms this afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 92 and calm winds. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 71. Saturday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high near 87. Sunday, up to a 70% chance of showers and possibly a thunderstorm, mostly cloudy with a high near 85. And Monday, showers and thunderstorms are likely, mostly cloudy with a high near 89. Right now, the water temperature in Surf City
Hot.
is 79.2. Based on historical data over a period of 10 years, the warmest weather on this day in the Atlantic Ocean near Surf City was recorded in 2024 and was 82.9 degrees Fahrenheit, and the coldest was recorded in 2013 at 77 degrees. And there are beach hazard warnings that have been issued for all coastal beaches.
Rip curtains.
North Carolina.
Rip curtains.
And swimmers are advised to exercise extreme caution due to rip currents, longshore currents, and sneaker waves.
And our friends up,
Parents, hold on to your children.
When I see a sneaker floating in the water, I get out.
our friends up at up north of us, it's it for them too.
Yep.
Yeah. So it's
Sneaker waves.
I want to say thank you to Donkey Man for wreaths honoring our fallen veterans.
Yeah.
gave a nice donation this morning to us. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much, Tim.
Well,
We appreciate
enjoy
that.
it.
We appreciate that.
It's like we talked about the last time I was here. I told you I don't like the government pointing a gun at my head and telling me what to do with my money.
Get used to it.
Oh yeah,
We went to donations for reefs to the government pointing a gun.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I'm just saying I like to donate where I think it's worth the cause.
Yes,
and
I do the same.
I have done St. Jude's and I have done other stuff. My wife, she donates to the Ronald McDonald House.
Yeah.
And she does that.
Yeah.
I just and I enjoy it. My granddaddy was a World War I veteran. My daddy was World War II. My brother was in Nam. And I have a deep appreciation for military. I have a deep appreciation. Oh, I got a good one for you. I did wrong this week. And
Again?
and I and I told the police officer. He wouldn't shake my hand, but he fist bumped. I said, "Look, you got to understand. I appreciate you being out here. Oh, I did a real bad thing.
Did he leave you with a pink slip?
No,
Okay.
no. He
Must not have been
did.
too bad.
It weren't too bad. Well, I was downtown with a log trailer in Wilmington, where I probably shouldn't have been.
Uh-oh.
But the road was closed to get to where I needed to go. So hey, we're going downtown. I had a trainee with me, and I went right on Market Street downtown off of 3rd Street, where it says no trucks. And I was trying to get to 11th Street to a graveyard to pick up a load of pine. And here's the thing that got me. I said, look, this is not a bribe. But I'll buy you some lunch if you escort me over there because I don't know where I'm going. He said, nope. I said, well, what do you want me to do? You got to get out of here. I don't care what you do, but you got to get out of here. Okay. Well, I went on up and pulled out my map again. Look, well, I'm only 2 blocks from 11th Street. So he left and I'm going in there. So when I got there and they got loaded the pipe, I got thinking. And I found me a way out. I didn't have to go back through downtown. So my hat's off to, I didn't get his name and because my boss knew, what's his name? No, you don't. You leave him alone. I did not get his name. He was a nice guy about it. But he said, you got to get out of here. And then he got to laughing. He said, you just can't do this, sir. You just can't do this, sir. You ran over the ballies back there. I know, but they stood back up. I shouldn't have said that.
No, you probably should. I'm not complete ignorance to what you just did. You're better off. Don't admit it and say that was funny, wasn't it?
And he looked at me, that's not the point. It's not.
Let's talk about LOCA. We have a PSA here. Starting Monday through Monday, 8 a.m., the filing period for the nonpartisan municipal races here in Onslow County opens up.
Oh, yeah.
So 8 o'clock Monday morning through July 15th, noontime. Okay. If you're interested in running for a city council seat in Jacksonville, and you also have like the mayor of Holly Ridge, you have some seats coming up in Richlands, all in the county.
Can I file in each one of them and just take the one I like if I win?
No. Jacksonville.
I'll
campaign for you.
To file in Richlands, you have to be a Richlands resident. And
I drove through there one time and I ate the toot and tell it.
Oh, yeah. I love the toot and tell it. We used to just drive circles around it.
Oh, everybody else did too.
The kids did, yes. But anyway, that opens up Monday morning. We'll find out more about who will be filing. We do know several people that are filing. Mike Yanero has already announced that he is filing for an at-large seat with the city council. We have, I know Cindy Edwards is filing again. She's currently a council member. She is refiling.
She hasn't had enough yet.
Yes. Those are the two that I'm very positive about. I've heard others, but I'm not, I don't want to say until
Holly Ridge,
they actually announce.
We know
we know Holly Ridge because Dorothy Royal, has announced that she's running for mayor, and the acting mayor now, who was
the appointed mayor.
They appointed. Well, I didn't mean any disrespect, Mr. Pete. What I just meant was he was not elected; he was appointed to that seat.
That one was funny because he was
mayor.
He was appointed to a city council seat, town council seat, when somebody left.
Right.
And then when the mayor left, he, as an appointee to that seat, was appointed then
Right.
to the
Right.
mayoral. He's a double appointee.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, and he's not even from this area. He moved to the Surf City
Yeah, a
area,
couple years earlier.
Holly Ridge,
That was funny. That
a
was
couple years ago.
hilarious.
So, and is
Politics.
in real estate. So that was
Temperature, by the
interesting.
way, for you folks out there, our weather spotters here, the live and local weather spotters, this morning, listen to them in just about 6:30 or so. One's in Swansburg, good old Joe, good boy from the Onslow Amateur Radio Club. It was 74 degrees there. He had a 0.05 inches of rain since yesterday, and right there off of Highway 258 near Baker's Cafe in the cemetery, back down on that section of the Riverbend Road. Dale, president of the club, he had zero inches of rain, and it was 73. And right here, we had 0.47 inches yesterday of rain, and it was
I
at
didn't
that
even
time
look.
73 degrees.
I didn't even look at my rain gauge, but at least the people at the cemetery can put their umbrellas away, huh? Just saying. Hey, I come across something. Never mind.
Why do
Here's.
they have umbrellas up at the cemetery?
You said Riverbend. You said is right there at the cemetery.
Who would be having their umbrellas up at the cemetery?
Well, there's people who work there.
Okay.
They're gonna tote their umbrella in one hand and
Never mind, Rayford. Anyway, I just wanted to let everyone know that
I wasn't the only one that got confused with that one.
you have to be quick. The Onslow County Sheriff's Office. Did you know the Onslow County Sheriff's Office has a foundation? And that
Underneath
is
the building,
it's a
they do.
nonprofit organization that seeks to assist the community outreach efforts. And they are having a big Operation Summer Bash 2025, an event that occurs on July 19th from 10 a.m. to 7 p.m. at the Onslow County Parks. There will be live music, food and craft vendors, kids activities, giveaways, and more. It's a free family event. Do you know what this is,
Yes,
Chris?
I do.
Please explain it, because this is the first I've heard of it.
It's actually
It's great.
Kathy found out about it last night because our daughter does crafting, and she's going to go to it for a little while.
Oh, okay.
But it's just a family. I think Chris is behind. Let's have some more events.
Sheriff Thomas.
in Onslow County. Yeah,
Yes,
I'm sorry,
very
Sheriff
nice.
Thomas.
I got a lot of Chris's that I deal with. One
Chris,
to my immediate
yeah,
left.
like
Chris.
Yeah,
Right.
but
Still Chris.
It used to be John's, but it's now Chris's.
it's gonna be
Hello, God.
it's gonna be a lot. It's gonna be a lot of fun.
Yes.
And hopefully Crime Stoppers will be out there as well. And so maybe our volunteer, who's one of her volunteers here for Wreaths honoring our fallen veterans, will be out there. But it's going to be a lot of fun. I don't know about fireworks. I don't know that part of it, but it's similar to today, but a little
Nice.
smaller.
No,
But a lot
I
of that-
didn't realize they had a foundation, and that was new. And to have this summer bash, I think that's really cool. Very
Yeah.
cool. Bringing the community together.
Well, and we need more stuff. That's just one thing that really
Yeah.
bothers me is that if you look around to the towns around us,
Mhm.
this weekend is the Croker Festival this weekend, or it was last weekend in Oriental. They had the Croker.
So, we need a festival.
Yeah, the Croker Festival. Well,
We had one time.
We're not doing no frying pan fish. What
No,
was it?
but
What's it?
Skate
Skate.
Festival.
Yeah.
We had here
Skate.
1 year in the 70s.
Yeah.
The Chamber of Commerce thought it was a good idea.
I thought Downtown Alive.
I
was
like that.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good.
Kathy's uncle came from Ohio, and he just thought it was the greatest thing to do on a Friday night.
Court Street reunion was always fun.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lots of music,
Yep.
lots of cool
Oh,
stuff.
it was. The last one was fantastic.
Yeah, it was.
Had great people volunteering and working it and
Yeah.
putting it together. And
It's
a lot of work.
hard to get volunteers.
Mhm.
Everybody's too busy trying to make ends meet. I mean, it's hard.
Well, and that was mentioned. Theo mentioned that, and I love you, Theo. You know I do. But he said,
No, he
you know,
doesn't, Theo. He's just lying.
Yeah, Theo. You know I love you, dog.
don't get Theo started up today,
But,
please.
that $17. we go back to the wreaths, is hard on people that are trying to make ends meet.
Yeah.
Don't have problems with Rayford. You've many, if not all, the car dealerships.
Absolutely.
Challenge the realtors.
I mean, these guys sell cars, every day.
Mhm.
Why not take $17 out of the sale of every new car? If you don't want to do the used cars, that's fine. Every new car that you sell, take $17. Just $17.
I see your friend
give it.
Robin has posted that he sold, I think, 3 this week, Robin.
Robin,
3 times
hello.
17.
Hey, see, I ain't in that fight with you. See, I'm not going
well,
to.
no, they will. They've supported because I think Robin's or Kelly's parent, one of their parents,
Robin's father.
is in the cemetery. But
Robin, you've got time. You got an hour and about almost an hour and a quarter. Run it on by here, son. Bring us the money. Show me the money, honey.
well, I understand, and somebody tried to explain to me, or gave it an attempt that we just wait until later in the year
Mhm.
when we can do it. But the only issue with that, for those that want to know about the Wreaths Across America program, is although the deadline is December 1st, that is the drop dead. That's it, no more.
Yeah.
But to put together the 10 pieces that make up a wreath is a lot of work.
Yep.
And you need to know that it covers the whole United States. It's not just Jacksonville
Mhm.
and Onslow County, but
We think it's just Jacksonville and Onslow County, but somebody thinks there's another part of this world.
yeah,
We don't.
Well, that's hats off to Drew, our friend down in Florida.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Drew got the letter, and
I talked to him last night.
We've got my classmate, and she's become a friend of yours too, Debbie, and she
Yeah.
lives in Wilmington, and she donates a lot and does a lot too.
oh
So
my goodness, yes.
yeah, she's
Yeah.
very, it's just something that's in her heart. So
Chris
thank you,
Bird,
Debbie.
one of our
Yes.
favorite
Listeners.
listeners. Yeah,
Yep.
she donates a lot, and everybody in this room donates a lot.
And
But
then we
anyway,
got to
just
donate
today-
some more.
Today's show wasn't about that.
Down to the
Awesome.
wire is the children up on Capitol Hill, those living and spending our money in the swamp, have finally approved what Donald Trump has termed his big, beautiful bill that will require us to cough up trillions of our hard-earned cash. The difference between Congress and a drunken sailor is simple. When Congress needs more money for their pet crap show shoots, they take it from us. When sailors can't buy another drink because he's drunk, he quits drinking. That's the difference in Congress. Congress just adds more taxes to it. The drunken sailor just quits drinking. So who's smarter, a drunken sailor or a congressman? You answered that question. It's up to you to tell me who's smarter. For blow-by-blow coverage of the pre-holiday spending bill shenanigans, let's go to our political expert, Lee Barrows.
What?
Tell us about the events, how they unfolded yesterday.
Well, it was around 5 a.m. I think it was.
When it
The
got started.
Democratic Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries decided to. Each side gets a certain amount of time. We explained that yesterday, and whoever's in charge that day will say, Mr. Speaker or Mr. President of whoever the committee or whatever, they'll say, I'd like to give 1 minute of my time to Representative so-and-so from California, whatever. And they keep going back and forth till they use up all their time. But Hakeem decided he was going to take every bit of the time awarded over on the Democratic side and do a talk. And he spent every minute of the time for the Democrats. And he talked in 8 hours?
A new record,
Just-
8 hours and
just-
35.
He beat his old record, which was when they were trying to elect a Speaker of the House, and he got up and talked all night on that one too. But yeah, I don't care what side you're on, you lose the people after the first hour, and it just got to be ridiculous. And finally, he got done. Speaker Michael Johnson got up. And he had a few things to say, though it was not like 8 hours long. And then they went into vote, and they voted it, and they won the vote by, I think, 4 votes.
Yeah.
Yeah, they won the vote on the bill by 4
What would the
votes.
vote have been before Jeffries was talking?
Probably the same. Yeah, they had already
So
made
we
up their mind.
wasted how much money keeping the lights on during that time? How much? What good does something like that serve? Isn't there a time
Nothing.
that somebody could make a motion? Mr. Speaker, isn't it time for to shut him up? Unless he's got something more to say.
But it has to be voted on,
Well, that's
and then you've got the
okay.
two sides, and then you got to go through this long, drawn-out process. It's like when they did the vote the other day. Okay, Virginia Fox of North Carolina. She's a pistol now. She got up there and she did a resolution to. Trying to remember exactly what it was. But anyway, it was more or less to call the question, let's do the vote. But you have to vote on whether you're going to go ahead and vote. So they give you 15 minutes to make your vote. But 15 minutes can't.
You don't have, I can do the entire ballot in 3 minutes.
Look. It's just like.
Without studying it. In advance.
The day that the Democratic Party decided they wanted the 877-page bill read, do you think there was anybody in there actually listening to them?
Whoever made that motion should be required to sit in that chair during the entire time with no potty breaks, no nothing.
Well, look, when Hakeem gets up there and does his 8 hours long, you don't see him leave and go potty. You don't see him leave and go get something. Well, yeah,
Depends.
it depends.
Well, his cups started out, they were very small. So
Yes.
they started out with coffee,
Uh-huh.
went to water, then went to coffee so he could stay awake to continue reading as they handed him book after book after book after book of what he was supposed to read.
Look, I've seen both sides do this, but not.
Yeah, I know, they're
I've
both
never
stupid.
seen it to the extent
And you
of
probably have
what
stadium power
Hakeem's
tax to
been
his leg.
doing. But yeah, it's just a matter of what was that I said the other, soaking up time. But the thing about it is nobody's there listening. Do you think those 434 representatives were in the building listening to every word? No, they were at their office. They were out to dinner. They were shopping. They were doing whatever they need, golfing. They aren't paying any attention to that. And I agree with Rafer. It's a waste.
You could
It's a
actually get
waste.
2 rounds of golf in the time that he spoke.
Oh, you could have gone to probably flown to Trump's golf course, had a round of golf, and fly back,
That
and
would
be back
fun.
in time for the vote.
I could have been eating KFC buffet.
You go down to the congressional cafeteria and have some lunch.
Argument. Does KFC have a buffet?
Somebody do. The one in Bird still has.
They do.
Yes, it do, honey. I gotta partake in that.
Can I get what I want?
Yeah.
I can
It's
get-
laid out there for
I
you.
can
Grab
get-
it and go.
I can get all the chicken legs that I want.
Yeah.
They have one they used to
Oh, my.
Sanford still
outside of Cherry Point.
Yeah.
Right there at the intersection.
Really?
I was
Yeah.
right there yesterday
I thought
too.
They have the buffet now.
How do I
I
get the
don't
burger
know
off?
which one.
Huh?
How do I get the
Or
burger?
just fly.
Okay.
Yeah.
About 80?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Try it.
That's takeoff speed.
You got brand new payments from all the
I
way
know.
Carolina all
Yeah.
the way to
Pretty
Bird.
cool.
There were two Republicans who voted against it. One from Kentucky, which was
Massey,
not
Thomas Massey.
Yeah.
He votes against
And
everything.
Brian
Doesn't matter.
Fitzpatrick from Pennsylvania.
Yep.
They tried their hardest to get him to make a comment after that, and he jumped into some rail car or something.
Yeah,
Well,
yeah,
are
that's
you talking
Thomas
to me?
Massey
Hello?
for you.
Yeah, and then he
Hello, I can't hear you. My ears are not working.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had what they needed to start with, but so you know what it's got. All this wasted time. I consider it wasted time. But there's a procedure.
910-333-0139. You want to join the mayhem? 910-333-0139. I was thinking again yesterday.
Oh no.
Uh-oh.
Had some time.
After your nap? With the
Actually, I
cookies?
never got my stupid nap.
Really?
Told you not to eat those cookies.
I didn't get
I
mine
did eat the
either.
cookies. I was
Usually that'll put me in an hour
Uh,
with my diabetes.
What if those Russian-backed terrorist groups and nations like Iran, whatever, are purposely working to get the United States to supply the big guns, rockets, missiles to Israel and to Ukraine in an effort to deplete our stockpiles of stuff we would need should we get attacked
Steve.
on our land? Even if we went into a wartime production mode and that happened, it's doubtful that we could produce enough conventional weapons to keep us in business because we've sold them or given them away. If our manufacturing plants were to retool to produce guns and ammo and explosives, what would they not be producing that's needed in our daily lives? They're going to give up something. Not sure how many of you ever talked with your parents, your grandparents, about World War II, and no doubt the schools didn't teach you much about life during the war years, but families were issued ration stamps. Mm-hmm. Yep, things like sugar were rationed. Gasoline was rationed. My mother had ration stamps left at the end of the war. I looked at them for years and years and years, but I don't know where they ended up. I wish I knew where they were.
Yeah.
Civilian life during an all-out war could put a damper on our lives. And if we are ill prepared to fight, perhaps because we've been giving our fighting supplies away, even if we sell it at reduced prices, we give it away, we could be in a world of hurt. There's some thoughts for you for this Independence Day, hoping that those we elected have thought about these possibilities. But then again, if those we elected can't even agree on most anything, should we be worried? You say, this is Steve.
Steve.
Happy Independence Day, sir. How are you?
I'm doing well. Happy Independence Day to y'all as well.
Thank
Happy
you.
Independence Day, Steve.
I was listening to y'all talking about the bill, and man, there's a lot of angles you can look at it from. That's for sure.
That's for sure.
I tell you what strikes me as the most odd thing out of the whole situation is today the Republicans, i.e., the conservatives, are celebrating adding over $2 trillion to the debt.
Thought it was
That just
5.
don't make no sense. That just don't make no sense. I ain't saying it's right or wrong. It don't make no sense. That group of all people were the ones who were supposed to get the debt under control, and they've spent more money than anybody's ever spent by passing that bill. It just don't make no sense. I mean, if y'all can help me make it make sense, please interject something. But I just don't understand it at all.
Here's my thing about all those numbers and stuff that we see and we hear. It goes back to the same old thing that I've heard for all my life. Figures lie and liars figure.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I don't know how they come up with the numbers they come up with and tell me that it's going to cost me less money, that I'm going to save money. I don't understand that. And yet, we got a bigger budget than ever.
Mm-hmm.
The only way is if they tax all the illegal immigrants that are in this country, the same rate that they tax us, maybe we could pay for some of this stuff. But we know that's not going to happen. So I don't know. Steve, I'm in the same quandary that you are. I don't understand it. The math does not add up if you do 2 and 2 like I learned how to do 2 and 2.
Right.
They don't have that
And I
much
tell you,
tariff money.
I was going to say, there's a lot of people talking about how, the bill is going to do this and do that, but the Congressional Budget Office is the one that's always been our go-to. And that's the numbers that I'm looking at. And it don't make no sense. It just don't make no sense. They ran on getting the out-of-control spending under control, and they're more out of control than anybody's ever been. It don't make no sense. What they're spending on might be something we need to spend it on, but it still don't make no sense. They're normally the ones that don't care what we need. We got to get our spending under control.
Well, look at it.
And they showed that with the cutting of Medicaid. I mean, they actually spent $3 trillion if you can't take into account the trillion they're going to cut from Medicaid and social programs.
Well, look at his first term when they were talking about cutting the budget, and he had a huge spending deal during his first term. You remember that? I mean, so how you doing that? That's what I want to know. I'm with you on that. How you doing that?
Yeah. Honestly, Donald Trump, as now his administration, between his first and second administration, is responsible for 1/3 of our national debt.
Yeah.
One person is responsible for 1/3 of our national debt now.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. And that person who ran on getting it under control. And the people who voted for this bill all ran on getting the spending under control. Like I say, I'm in a place of complete bewilderment as to how that adds up.
Well,
You know, and I like to say I could beat that dead horse, I guess, but
here's the whole thing about that too. We had a whole bunch of Democrats, and not just Republicans, who are doing this. We had a whole bunch of Democrats to support it, right?
supported
This bill, this spending
this
bill.
bill.
Yeah,
There
This
were-
particular bill. You had
Yeah.
Democrats to support it.
yeah.
Which one voted for it?
The Democrats. How many voted for it?
None.
None.
Zero.
My goodness, you got to be kidding me! Not a Democrat voted for this.
No. As a matter of fact, the only thing bipartisan about this bill is its opposition, where you had some Republicans that voted against it.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
You know, I baited you.
and like
for
I
that
say,
one, right?
I'm not trying to debate whether the bill is good or bad. Just the simple fact of the conservatives are celebrating exploding the debt. That's the part that's odd to me.
Mhm.
You know, this could have been money we needed to spend, but they're not the ones that normally would spend it. So, you know, honestly, I mean, I was always of the thought that we're the ones that spend more money than the Republicans, but that's not where we're at today. So, I just don't understand. But people in the same boat I'm in, that, you know, it don't quite make sense.
I have no idea.
I hope it turns out for the best, but I'm nervous. I ain't gonna lie about that. It sure makes me nervous that things don't add up. Anytime that, you know, 2 plus 2 comes up to be, you know, 2 trillion,
Mm-hmm.
I get nervous.
The only thing where they gonna get, where you gonna get the money from? You know, all the tariffs we're getting now, and then all the U.S. aid money that was going out is not going to go out anymore. That still don't add up. You see what I'm saying?
No, that's a
I'm
drop
with
in
you
the
on
bucket
that.
to what
Yeah,
they
it's
spend.
exactly what it is.
The debt will never go away. The debt that was started before any of us were born, the debt will never go away. And I think every administration has added to it. I'm not going to say that not to the extent that the current administration has, but every administration has added to this.
Yeah, they have. They said
Actually, I mean, I hate to dispute you on that,
No,
and
go
I
ahead,
hate to
Steve.
point out a Democrat, but if you go back to Bill Clinton, when Bill Clinton left office, the budget was under control, and we actually had a surplus.
But now, who did that?
Bill Clinton.
Uh-uh.
Oh, I'm saying he was in office during
He
that
was
time.
in office.
And I mean, honestly, I think it was a bipartisan effort at that time. You know, they worked together a lot better back then.
Who started it?
I'm not really sure.
Reagan started it, because when Bill Clinton came in, he made the speech, and he told it right out loud. He said, "This was not my when it was balanced. Everything was balanced. We had a surplus." He stated in his speech that Ronald Reagan did this, and I remember Ronald Reagan saying it would take at least 9 years to do it, but we can get rid of the debt. And Bill Clinton stated that. Now he stated that it was Reagan that did it.
And that's I mean, I'm not going to dispute that. You're probably right. But we've lost that bipartisan cooperation,
Right.
for sure.
Yeah.
And it has been done before. That was the point I was trying to make. Is it has been done. And the Iraq and Afghanistan wars, they cost us a lot of money. You know, I mean, that was part of what, you know, sent us into debt to start with, I believe. But well, like you said, is how they're going to pay for this. The $1 trillion tax, the $1 trillion cuts to social programs is to pay for what he spent in his first administration. What are they going to have to cut for what they spent yesterday? You know, that's what I worry about. You know, is they got to get that from somewhere. So I'm concerned about that as well. You know, that they spend that much money with no real plan as to how to get it, you know, to compensate for that loss of revenue.
I don't get it either, Steve. I really don't. I mean, you're talking about cutting out taxes on tips and taxes on this and taxes on
How
that.
many people pay taxes on tips in the first place?
Exactly.
None.
Waiters,
Yeah.
waitresses.
A lot,
Come on.
guys.
A lot.
Really?
Yeah.
If you ever wait the tables, you have to claim a certain percentage of
Right.
the restaurant.
If they pay by card and it's on record,
Yeah.
now if somebody hands you a $5 bill under the table, hey, you know.
Well, that's
But
me.
here's the thing, guys. Like I said, the law is that you have to claim
Yeah.
a certain percentage of the total sales of the restaurant. Even if you didn't make that much in tips, you still have to claim that
Right.
much.
Yeah, because what is the wage for waitresses? Used to, when my daughter was in, it was $2.13 an hour, and then
Yep.
you had to make up the rest of it for at least minimum wage. And that
Right.
I'm adamant about it today. When I go to a restaurant, I do not like to put tip on the card.
Nope.
I
I can
lay
help it, I
cash
don't.
on the counter, and I even asked this question, Steve. I asked the waitress, I said, do y'all have to split your tips? And we have to pay the
Yes.
No,
cook? Some do.
no, Tim, I do something similar. I don't ask that question.
Yeah.
I ask the waiter or waitress, do you get taxed on your tip, or is cash better for you? And they'll come right out front and say, cash is better
Cash
for
is
me.
king.
And I'll give them cash because I don't
bet.
want.
Well, one of
too.
the things that a restaurant will do, which is only fair for the restaurant, okay?
Mhm.
You know, they have to pay 3.5% or whatever their fee is for handling the credit card.
Yeah.
They have to take that off the top. So
Yes,
a $100 thing, that's $3.50. It goes to the credit card company.
Right.
Now, if $20 of that $100 goes to the waiter, what is listed as a tip, well, guess what? 3.5% of that, they're going to take off of that $20.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or they're going to lose money.
Right.
So I do that a lot, Steve. I mean, really.
I tell you something I seen at Cox Restaurant in Morehead City that really I like is
I've never
me
been.
and my wife go there to
Love it.
me and my wife go there to eat all the time. But if you tip on the card, they will take cash out of the register and put it to the side for the waiter or waitress.
Wow.
I've seen
Some
that too.
places do that.
Yes, I've seen that
And,
too, Steve.
The family
Man,
restaurants are,
They're
Yeah,
adamant
I-
about that.
I'm so proud of them for that.
I
That
don't
is
know if
such a
Figs
generous
does
thing
it
to do
anymore
for
or
their-
not, but they used to.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's such a generous thing for them to do for their
Oh, yeah.
workers.
It is.
You know?
It is.
But yeah, like I say, I can't tell you if the bill's good or bad. I did hear a report. I don't know if it's accurate. Haven't been able to find a fact check on it yet about the no tax on tips. The reports I've heard is that they consider corporate bonuses and corporate perks tips as well. So CEOs
Yeah.
who get $1 million bonuses,
Mhm.
no taxes. You know, a
No
company
income
tip that
tax.
used to have to pay taxes because it was considered compensation.
it is
You don't have to pay
compensation.
taxes. You know, company cars, company, condos, all that stuff now is tax exempt. So
So, well, you know, when I had a company car at the TV station there, at one point in time, they always gave the news director a car. I had to
Right.
keep mileage, and
Yeah.
whatever the mileage was,
Me
I
too.
had to pay a certain amount. I had to know the distance between my house and the station.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
take
then you
off,
double
right?
that. I had to take
Mhm.
that off, and I had to
Mhm.
pay
Right.
that as income tax. I
If you-
had to do it.
You left your house
Right. Yeah.
and went to a 1 a.m. story, usually terrible.
Yeah.
You had to pay taxes.
No.
I
That
tell you a
was,
scenario
that was
that's-
only going from my house to a location for an event for the station. But if I'm just using it for transportation
Oh, right.
from my house to the station, the same mileage back and forth every day, that was considered a benefit,
Mhm.
which you pay for. And they took it out every year. That was part of my income tax return stuff they put on. I didn't have any choice.
It's just like when people used to deliver the paper.
Yeah,
I mean, when
I
you
was going
were
to say, anytime there's money involved, there's going to be somebody trying to cheat. There's going to be some kind
Of
of
course.
fraud.
always.
They're drawn to anywhere there's a pot of money. So the first thing that pops in my mind is that somebody in a corporation gets a $1 a year salary, but then at the end of the year they get a $20 million bonus.
Steve, you and
They
I,
only pay taxes on the dollar.
you and I have something in common because I used to play in nightclubs and weddings and things like that. And I always ask for cash.
Mhm.
I always ask for cash. I played as
Let me ask you this real quick.
Sure.
Sorry to interrupt.
no.
Did you have a tip jar? Okay.
No.
Well, had you had a tip jar
Mhm.
and people were putting cash in that,
Mhm.
would you have claimed that on your
No.
taxes?
No, I didn't.
Thank
I
you.
didn't
Most
claim.
people don't.
I didn't claim all the beers that people bought me when I
Yeah.
was doing it, but
That's what I'm saying.
that had added to the tax, to
One of
the
the
big
biggest-
tax rate. But
Occupations in America is barber. And my barber, I've asked him because it's all cash to him, and he claims what he has to claim. But I can guarantee he never said, and I've never asked. But I can guarantee, if I was a barber, I'd claim just what I had to claim. But no, she'd be in the pocket, buddy.
Mhm.
I mean, it's just normal. I do that trimming horses and donkeys.
I guess I'm a
I
gullible
asked for
fool
cash.
because I claim my taxes. I mean, I
Well,
claim my
true.
tips on
Well,
my
I
taxes.
claim taxes
I don't get no
too
tips,
on
so I don't
farm
have-
taxes and even my donkeys.
True.
Trimming donkeys and trimming horses. I claim some of that. It's income.
Right.
I mean, I'm not going to say I claim it all, but I do claim it. But I do do cash only, and because of that, I don't have a PayPal or I don't have a Square on my phone where you can swipe your card and all that stuff. I just
Well-
say, hand me the cash when I get
I
there.
Now-
swipe a card, I'm gonna keep it.
well, I have to have. Look, I have Square. I never
Right.
wanted to do something, but I had to get it for Reach Across America.
I got you.
Because people wanted to put it on their card.
Yeah.
They don't carry cash. Young people don't
Yeah.
carry cash. Steve, I don't know. You're young. You carry cash. Are you a cash person or card? Debit?
I'm over 50, so I try to keep a little cash in my wallet for emergencies,
too.
but it's not like my go-to. My card is my main.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're okay.
I'm still
You're,
a cash
you're a
man
young.
when I
You're a
get there.
I've got
youngster.
another caller here too, Steve. Thank you.
Okay,
Thanks,
guys.
Steve.
Y'all
I'm
have a
with you,
great
bud.
Thursday.
Have a blessed day, Steve.
Well, we lost our other caller. Where'd he go?
Drew, come back.
Drew,
Drew,
are
come
you?
back.
Drew.
Well, did you know that during
Calling all
Barack
cars.
Obama's presidency, the U.S. total outstanding debt increased by almost 8.34 trillion, the biggest dollar increase of any president. And I have added a link to our Facebook comments and live and local comments and explaining the national debt and
Oh God, I wish I
what
could understand it.
causes it. And after Drew, we'll talk more.
Hey
about
Drew,
it.
what's up?
I don't want to dispute people who called in before, but Steve was saying these $1 million bonuses and stuff are going to be called tips.
Yep.
The tips are limited to $25,000.
Mhm.
People making tips can only deduct 25, and anybody making over $160,000 a year cannot write off the $25,000 in tips. So these $1 million bonuses aren't going to do you a whole lot of good. It's not going to be a tip.
Okay, folks who don't know, Drew is also one of those guys, a CPA. He does taxes,
And has to know this stuff.
so he's a tax
Oh.
man.
Now,
Tax man.
all you got to do is Google what the terms are. They'll tell you.
Well, he's
Okay,
one of Drew. You are still one of my heroes for your donation. Thank you.
no problem, guy. You take care.
You can write that off, Steve. That is Drew, that is a donation, so you can actually deduct that from your income. You realize that, right?
Oh, and they're going to give you a above the line $1,000 this year too. So people that don't itemize them don't take off donations.
Really?
Oh.
Yep.
Well, you start working on mine right now. I got. And listen, I got to figure out a way to write off about $9,439 this year on a radio. Can I do that?
Probably not.
You need
can
to
write
sell
mine
some
off.
stuff, Rayford. Do you have
They want to
any,
tax me on it if I sell it.
do you have any markers you can
Should've-
call in? I mean, you know.
You should have been a trucker.
trucker?
What do
I can deduct my CB radio.
I paid back that
this
money.
radio's a little bit more. Than you
I know it is. I wish I did.
I paid back the
But Drew,
$20.
I got to
borrowed.
tell you this: when I
That's your
tell
pay.
everybody you're like E.F. Hutton. When you call in and you talk, I really listen.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because now, I listen to you and I listen to my accountant wholeheartedly. Because I'm a truck driver, so there's a lot of deductions out there that I do my best to get.
I don't want Drew. If you have a moment, if you don't want to answer, please. It's not going to hurt my feelings.
We'll
But
change your name for a minute. You're going to be Sam.
yeah,
Go
hey,
ahead.
Sam. I have a question for you, Sam.
Okay.
Part of this, this new bill, whatever you want to call it, for Social Security. That's something about there's no tax on Social Security now. Is that your understanding?
They didn't actually exclude Social Security from being non-taxable income.
Okay.
What they did is they gave people over a certain age an extra standard deduction to try to offset the tax you would pay on the Social Security. So if you're a single person, you get an extra $4,000 standard deduction as long as your income is under $75,000 a year. If you're a married couple, you each get $4,000 as long as your income is under $150,000 a year.
Okay. Okay.
I made that quote.
I think we all made that. Thank you, Sam.
Yeah, thanks
You
a
guys
lot,
had a happy
Jim.
boys. I'm going back and lay down.
There you go.
Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
It's just like 887 pages, and we can sit here and listen to this news media outlets say this is what it means.
Well,
And
we
this
can
one
call
over here say
Drew
what it
and
means.
get the facts.
We can all call Drew. But Joe, listen
Don't
to
lay
this.
down yet.
Listen to this. As of April 5th, 2024, the national debt has grown by 6.17 trillion or 21.7% since Joe Biden was inaugurated in 2021, according to the U.S. Treasury
So
Department.
that's over a period of 4 years.
Yes, in his first year in control of the federal budget from September 21 to September 2022, we're talking years, the debt grew about 2.5 trillion. In his second year it grew by 2.24 trillion. The national debt has grown by 1.43 trillion so far this year. Now it says debt growth under Donald Trump. From the beginning of Donald Trump's presidency in 2017 to its end in 2021, the national debt increased by 40%, about 8.18 trillion, according to the U.S. Treasury Department.
$8 trillion.
It rose the most from September 2019 to September 2020, when Trump spent $3.6 trillion on the virus, the COVID pandemic relief.
Yeah, that's going to be one of those odd years.
So,
Did it
yeah.
let me ask you this one then, Madam Figure Lady.
Yeah, I'm like,
And your two cohorts over there, to your left and to your right.
right?
Now, it rose by $8 trillion
Yes,
during that pandemic time, right?
yes.
Did it come down when the pandemic went away?
Well, let me see if you're talking about when.
Whenever pandemic, when the no
Total
more need to buy a
debt.
bunch of masks and a bunch of injections and all that stuff, did it come down?
Well, the total debt. Okay, when did Biden take over?
It never comes down.
Yeah.
2021, he took over.
I mean, it just shows the changes. I mean, September 2021, it was at 28.4 trillion. September 2022, 30.93 trillion. September 2023, 33.17. And as of April, it's 34.60. So it's risen very little.
So let's go back to
between-
just before the pandemic and find a base number.
Base
I want to know what the
number.
base before the pandemic was. What was our budget? How many trillions of dollars was our budget at that base time?
Roughly-
We consider this a base level, right?
Roughly around 22.72 trillion.
Okay. Now that was just before the pandemic.
That was just,
So what
Before.
is it today
what is it today?
without a
Does it
pandemic?
have a
So I'm
day?
going to round that off to 23 trillion.
Like April, no, that's 24. I don't know.
23
I'll have to look that up on a separate tab. But
Okay.
this was
It
very,
has not come down the amount that it went up because of the so-called pandemic, correct?
right. No, it did come down. I don't know. I have to look at it. Barack Obama, total debt after leaving office, 20.24 trillion. George W. Bush, 11.91 trillion. Bill Clinton had the lowest, 5.81 trillion.
Well, he stayed in the Oval Office a lot. He didn't have
Yeah, just,
most of
I
that was
had
cigars.
jokes,
Yeah,
but I
yes.
wasn't going to do it. I'm like, so between 2014 and 2024, 2014, we were at 12.62 trillion, and as of 2024,
Before you leave today,
27.51.
I want to talk about the silver bullets, okay?
Yeah, well, the biggest thing people have to remember that adds to the debt is inflation.
Mhm.
Inflation adds to your debt. And I'm not making excuses for any president, but I'm just saying let's look at statistics.
So give me that about George W. Bush again. I'm just
George
Was it
W.
11?
Bush. Oh
think
God.
after 8 years.
11.91 trillion.
Now that also included a war, a
Mhm.
massive war,
Mm-hmm.
Right.
and an attack on this country, right?
Right.
Huh.
Bill Clinton, the only thing he actually did, well, I should say that. Bill Clinton, the one thing that his presidency is known for is the national debt staying so low.
Yeah.
But then again, during 1993 to 2001, what do we have going on in the country?
Well, we had an attack on the World Trade Center.
Right.
We had an attack on the USS Cole.
Mm-hmm.
We had a whole lot of stuff going on.
But as far as inflation, was inflation bad then? I mean, were we going through a series of pandemics when we had to lock everybody down and business had to close? So there's a lot of stuff here that if you research it, just because you want to say whoever's president now and we're going to have this in debt and he's bad, whatever, go back and look at history.
So I'm going
History shows you a lot.
I'm going to look at George W. Bush again, and then when Obama comes in, he has a pretty high inflation rate, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if Clinton can go back and point to Ronald Reagan and cite him for Clinton's low inflation rate or low budget stuff, should Barry Obama be able to look back at George W. Bush, the president before, and say, well, because of him, my inflation is way up. My budget is way up because of what he spent.
Well, listen to this. The current debt limit is 31.4 trillion, and the national debt is about 34.6 trillion, meaning the government is above the debt limit. The government has surpassed the debt limit 78 times since 1960. To avoid catastrophe, Congress votes to either raise the limit, as it did in 2021, or suspend the limit, as it did in 2023. The suspension is in effect until 2025. Then Congress will have to decide on further action. See, so it's not just one orange president. You know what I'm saying? I mean, this goes through the years and years and years and years. And a lot of it has to do with inflation. It has to do with whatever, the economy is going through. It has to do with wars and,
I want to see every one of those guys up there with one of these things, and I want to see them all looking at this budget and tell me
right.
what the problem is. This is a magnifying glass, so you can't see it. Every one of them needs to have a Sherlock Holmes magnifying glass.
I looked at Obama. Remember, he was talking about building a wall. He set aside $40 billion. The wall never got built. What happened to the money? Okay. Then you look at
A library
Trump
was built.
Right. Then you look at Trump. He could have done it with what, $4 billion?
what he said.
4?
I said,
Okay. Why couldn't they have took that $40 billion, took $4 billion
It
out
was-
of it? Because it's floating somewhere.
It's repurposed.
Yeah,
They
there you go.
take from line item here and put the line item there. They know how to do this. And it happens on a regular basis. It happens in the Conso County Commissioners.
Oh,
I hear it every budget, not every meeting, but many meetings. This is a consent item agenda that we're going to take some money from this event that we don't need anymore. We're going to put it over here where we think that we can use it better. We know that. City council, county commissioners, it happens all the time. It comes under the consent agenda items.
Yeah.
And almost never does anybody look at it twice,
No.
because that's what the manager has said that needs to be done. Okay, we're going to get some weather, but
weather.
going into the weather, we got this little thing there. Disturbance number 1 is now got 60% chance of developing over the next 48 hours. So it has moved a little bit further towards the northeast, is somewhere not far from the Georgia-South Carolina line. So whatever it is forming up because it's getting smaller in overall
Oh, yeah.
size. And they don't think they have any rotation yet, but they're going to be doing some checking. Air Force Reserve Hurricane Hunter aircraft is going to be investigating that system in a little bit. So we need to stay close, but even if it does form up, right now it's looking like it will be probably, if it and anything happens, we should be on the good side of it.
Oh, yeah.
As long as it stays like it is predicted to go. That's as long as it stays.
It's going to make boating a little rough.
Well, it is.
Further offshore it will. Closer to shore it'll be okay.
But
About the same.
I think those winds, myself tracking them, I think it's gonna cause a lot of wind issues for the Charleston and then the
Probably.
South Carolina area, but and part of Georgia.
Not a lot of wind associated
No,
with it yet.
no,
Because it hasn't even reached tropical storm status yet.
I'm going to wait a couple more days.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, hopefully by a couple more days, it should be picking up speed. Looks like it has picked up speed this morning. So if it picks up speed, zoop, zoop, wow.
Bye-bye.
I think they increased that to 60% now, right?
That's what I just
60?
said, yeah.
Yes.
It's up to 60% over the next 2 days.
Right.
Okie dokie, high pressure is still out there. We know about that. We just talked about it. For boaters, that's going to mean mostly decent weather offshore, but I don't count on it for Sunday. If you're going to do it today. You can try it tomorrow. You should be okay. Stay close to shore. Further offshore, all bets are off. We don't know. Have not a clue. Today, northerly winds 5 to 10 knots, becoming easterly this afternoon. Seas 3 to 4 feet every 7 seconds. Sounds and rivers a light chop. Tomorrow's forecast still hasn't changed, but keep your eye on it before you go out tomorrow. Check the weather tonight, the National Weather Service, and go to the marine forecast and go for if you're about where we are, the Cape Lookout to the Surf City zone. That's the last one down on the area there. You'll get an idea of what to expect.
Right.
Easterly winds currently for tomorrow, 10 to 15 knots, 3 to 5 footers, 7-second intervals. Sounds and rivers of moderate chop. Southeasterly winds on Sunday, 15 knots. All bets are off. They say 4 to 6. Who knows?
Today, we have a slight chance of showers this afternoon, mostly sunny with a high near 92. Tonight, partly cloudy with a low around 71. Saturday, a chance of showers and thunderstorms, partly sunny with a high near 87. Sunday, a 70% chance of showers and possibly a thunderstorm, mostly cloudy with a high near 85.
Currently, the studios are 77 degrees with a 40% humidity.
And water temperature in Surf City right now is 79.2, and there are beach hazard warnings for our area beaches this
Okay, this one
weekend.
is for Kelly. Kelly, put your ears on and listen up.
Yeah, I've got something she sent me to when we get
A Delta airliner
I saw
did not need that old wing flap, did it? Part of the wing flap flapped down onto a driveway in Raleigh this week after it came loose from a Boeing 737 that was planning to land in Raleigh. The plane had a crew of 6 and 109 passengers approaching the RDU on a flight from Atlanta about 1 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah.
Has to be in the middle of the night,
The
doesn't it?
crew noticed the missing part after the airliner landed safely. No one was hurt. It wasn't the whole flap. It was just a portion of it. But it looked to be about 6 feet long that I saw pictures of them loading it into the back of a pickup truck. No one, I wouldn't give it back. That's my wing. It landed in my driveway. I'm going to use that metal for a dog shed or something. No one got hurt. Thank goodness the wing flap was picked up, and the FAA is investigating. I hope they investigate thoroughly. Wing flaps, especially on
You
an
might need those.
approach.
Yes.
On an approach, that's when that and taking off is when they use those wing flaps a lot.
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to. I don't even want to lose a nut or a bolt on an airplane. If I'm on it. Hey, you remember that story in Eden, North Carolina, of the dump truck driver?
Yeah.
That was a city driver, working for the city, that crashed into the utility trucks and killed quite a few people there. Well, listen to this. Michael Vernon was is the guy's name, has been charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor death by motor vehicle and operating a commercial vehicle without a CDL. He didn't have a CDL, working for the city. Michael Vernon, the former City of Eden worker involved in the April crash that killed 4 men, appeared in court in Rockingham on yesterday, alongside family members and his attorney. During the appearance, the Rockingham County District Attorney's Office filed a motion to admit more evidence to the court. The office also wanted to acquire Vernon's personnel records during the time working for the city. The DA's office claimed on Thursday that Vernon was involved in 6 wrecks during his time working for the city of Eden.
That's history. You need to look at history.
No,
Records.
the city of Eden needs to go ahead and get the checkbook ready
Well, that too. I don't
because
think they got that much money.
in May, the city of Eden revealed that Vernon never had a commercial driver's license during his employment, despite it being a requirement
Then
for
why
his
don't you
position.
charge them?
Vernon was charged with 4 counts of misdemeanor death by motor vehicle, one count of failing to stop.
Why is not
for
the DOT regulations enforced? I mean, these people
a stop sign.
hired somebody. If I hire an illegal alien to do work on my project and he doesn't even have a driver's license and he has a wreck and kills people, you know what? They're going to hold me responsible civilly and criminally.
Well, listen to this. The DA's office also claimed that Vernon's direct supervisors might be criminally
No kidding.
culpable for the accident.
Because I mean, you get it in the R every year. Motor vehicle report. It's required. Every employer has to run NVR on their CDL employees every year. I sign the paper every year to let them investigate.
So dump trucks, bucket truck drivers like that. I'm just curious. It was a dump truck, right?
Yeah.
I just wasn't sure what you said.
I know what I was asking Tim is the MVR report
Right.
is required for dump truck drivers,
Every
bucket truck.
Anybody
Yes,
that drives a commercial vehicle
6 accidents
has to
while
have an
working for the
NVR.
city.
The employer has to do an NVR.
Well, I'm
Any
just reading
commercial
what the
vehicle.
paper said.
They
But
lie.
thank you, Kelly, for that report. I think I got most of it out.
Any of them related to you, Kelly?
No.
I mean, you see
I mean,
these.
well, we know she drives like a bat out of you know where.
Well, she doesn't do
I mean,
it.
you see
Driving
they'll
dump
start
truck.
out at Class C, B, and A.
Right.
And then you have restrictions on all of them. Class A, you have, if you, I'll give you an example, like these power companies.
Yeah.
They have to have Class A because they'll pull pole trailer. Okay. If he gets his CDL and he have to take a skills test and driving test. If he gets it with that type of vehicle, he's got a restriction on his license. And it says no semis. Now, if you take it with a semi, you're not restricted. Also, if you take it with an automatic transmission truck, it'll have a restriction on there. It'll say automatic only. So if you get caught driving a stick shift and you have an automatic, you're in trouble.
You know,
It's just a
even
mess.
working where I was assigned a car,
Yeah.
every one of my employees that drove a car, we got their records every year.
Every
'Cause
year.
well, we didn't. The insurance companies
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
And that's what we, to be sure that they didn't have anything. If any one of them was involved in a wreck, their fault or not, I had to pick said driver up and take him over to the lab core, and I say, okay,
The test.
here's your cup.
Yeah.
Do your thing.
Yeah.
And then we would have to do that. Not even though he wasn't charged, the other people were charged. We did it because there's this thing called civil liability.
Oh, yeah.
If the people, anybody else who might be injured, third party, they say, you know, there's a thing called deep pockets. Do you go after Bubba Joe, who's driving a car, or do you go after the company? Who's got the deeper pockets?
Oh, yeah.
You go after whoever's got the deep pockets when you start suing, because that's all you care about is money at that point in time.
I mean, even me, if I get in any kind of accident, my fault, their fault, nobody's fault.
There's no such thing.
Right. But we say that. I have to go take a urine test
Yep.
and an alcohol test.
You should
I
have
to go every time. And the company is required by the DOT to do random checks. I mean, I'll get a phone call. Hey, you on your way back to the shop? Yep. When you get here, go to the front office. I already know what that means.
Mhm.
They got my paperwork laying there. Go. And you go do that, and you bring it back, and
I
it's
couldn't even
amazing.
let them go themselves because they would be
No.
driving a company car. And then if something happened during that period of time, it's like, who's responsible?
Yeah.
It's like the highway patrol pulling you over and you say, I only got 3 blocks to go to get home. And
Yeah.
yes, I'm a little drunk, but can you just help me out
Yeah,
here?
help me
No,
out.
so rare.
It's
No.
like I said,
Just let me follow
can you get me
you.
out of here? No.
Let me follow you.
Before you go to the silver bullet,
I can't do that right now.
Okay.
It'll be after the show.
okay.
It's about the Lone Ranger.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, I love
Can we
it.
talk about the 200 Marines from the New River Air Station that left yesterday, heading on their way to Florida to be help ICE over at the
Really?
Alligator Alcatraz?
Really?
Yes.
Sure.
Yep. The
Help them
department.
what?
Well,
Shoot gators?
the move comes after the Department of Homeland Security requested help on May 9th. May 9th.
It's kind of a slow reaction time, huh?
Not all, man.
Wow. Are y'all sure you got your story
Even
right?
Shockwave turned
The
his head.
Secretary of Defense approved the use of up to 700 active duty National Guard and Reserve forces for the mission under Title 10 authority. Officials
What
say
about
these
Marines?
service members will only help with office work and supplies inside the ICE facilities and will not have any
They're going to
contact
feed the gators.
with the migrants. They're the first group to support ICE through the U.S. Northern Command.
Did those gators come across our border legally? Were they born
That's
there?
fair. They're born there. They're natural, naturalized.
But yeah, sorry,
Any
guys.
crocodiles in that swamp?
4th of July, and he had to go to
Snakes.
Florida.
Snakes and alligators.
There's some imports there, those big old snakes
Yep.
that they've been hunting for the last 8 or 10 years.
Making a living.
You know, people are ridiculous. They get these pets for, well, the little chickens and the ducklings we used to get for Easter.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that's dumb.
Yeah.
But at least their feathers will come out and those yellow colors will
Ooh.
change. But these people who get these tiny alligators, you can order them online at one time. You could get, well, on a catalog, not online. You get a tiny alligator. You know those things grow up. Y'all ever seen a big one? They all started real little. They came out of an egg real tiny. But they're cute. They couldn't even bite your finger. But they get up to be 6 and 10, 12 feet long.
I don't
15
want
feet
any of
long.
those critters.
How about these snakes that they get? And what do you do with them? They're not native to this country.
I have a
Alligators, you can
friend-
dump them down in the swamp, but some people dump them down the toilets in
Yeah.
New York, and that's why they had the alligators down in the storm drains. Did you know that?
Well, I knew they were down in the street.
Yeah, buddy, because they were idiots. But there are people
touches me right now.
would take their little pythons that were getting kind of big, and they just take them to the swamp. So I want to set you free, have a good, and they multiply. They're not native to this country. They're killing deer. They're killing alligators. They're killing everything that they need to strangle to death. Squeeze them.
Alligator story, real quick. Southport yesterday or the day before, alligator grabbed this man's dog.
Mhm.
He went into the. No, it's got a good ending. Good ending.
If it doesn't,
It has
I'm
a
gonna
good
smack you
ending.
right out of
Does
that
it
chair.
involve gumbo?
No.
We'll do it together,
The
man.
owner jumps in to the pond,
Oh, God.
beats the alligator, and retrieves his dog.
For him, but lucky him.
Lucky him, and the dog only received a broken leg. I know that's bad.
He's
but
got a
please
story
look.
I was about to wheel you right out.
No, I don't
slam
do
the door
bad. I don't
behind
do
you.
bad stories, but it's just down in Southport, and
Yeah.
I do not recommend that. I mean, what would I do? Oh, yeah, when I jumped into the pond, well, you know what would be happening there, but a lot of noise would be making. Yeah. 21 times if necessary. But that's all right. Lead poisoning is bad.
good news story.
Do you
That's a great
remember
news story.
when we were discussing
Good
the other
God.
day about the deputy in Darlington, South Carolina
Yeah.
that was fatally shot? When him and
It's
another
murdered.
deputy were going to this home to make an arrest, it was like 1:30 in the morning. Well, the plot thickens. The 77-year-old mother of the man who fatally shot a South Carolina deputy has been arrested and charged with lying to the officers by saying he wasn't home just before the man ambushed the deputies. She was charged with obstruction of justice and misprision.
Misrepresenting.
No, it's got misprision of a felony on Thursday. I don't know. Sometimes I wonder who writes these stories. 2 days after her son, Cameron Ray Dennett, was killed in a shootout with a Darlington County deputy. So
listen, let me see if I can get this
Miss
straight. Sue, help me
Prison?
out. They're just the questions that
So-
doesn't require a lot of explanation.
Uh-huh.
2 deputies went to arrest him at 1:30 in the morning.
Right.
Why? Why were they there at 1:30 in the morning? Do you know? What were the charges?
It did not
Okay,
say.
so you don't know.
No,
So they
I
went
do
there at
not
1:30 in
know.
the morning, so it
Mhm.
must have been some sort of a call that they needed to go there, right? And I'm going to guess that there was an outstanding warrant for the guy, or
Right.
you wouldn't go to
Mhm.
make an arrest without an outstanding warrant. Okay, so they get there, knock on the
Oh.
door, and the woman, the mother of this guy that is wanted by the deputies, she answers the door and says he ain't here.
That's right. They went to a restaurant around 1:30
Sorry, you go to
a.m.
jail.
Mm-hmm.
The mother said her son was not there and asked the officers to leave.
You go to jail.
Mason went to open a closer bathroom door and Cameron Dennett started firing. Okay, Mason was the deputy, wounding Mason's partner. Mason fired back and both the deputy and the suspect were killed. So the gentleman, the man, I keep saying gentleman, the man that they went to arrest was wanted for criminal conspiracy, forgery, and a computer crime and was not allowed to have a gun. Well, we know he had a gun.
So he had a prior conviction then.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
And I
So-
imagine the computer crime, we probably
Don't be
could figure
whatever.
out that. Right. But yeah.
Going at 1:30 in the morning though for that is okay. Well, maybe they just got word that he was there. That obviously they've been looking for him,
Yes.
so they got somebody tipped them off that he was there, so they went to get him.
Mhm.
Okay, understand that.
Wow.
I made an interesting phone call Sunday.
Mama going to
Now all
the
of y'all, I
fitness.
assume, are on Medicare.
Yeah,
Okay.
I am.
I'm not,
Oh.
but it's coming.
You will be
I will
Yeah.
be.
about a year,
And no,
less than a year.
yeah, December.
I got a guy you need to talk to.
Yep. Well, I've been reading about this because I don't plan on retiring.
Mhm.
And at the end of my reading about Medicare, there was a number. I
Good.
called the number. And this nice, sweet lady named Virginia, she answered the phone. And I had my questions lined
What
up.
kind of accent does she have?
No.
Okay, just
She
want to be sure
was
you did get one of those
Southern
numbers.
girl, Southern girl,
Good girl.
great girl. And my question was, I said, look, I know I'm supposed to sign up August 1st for Medicare, but I have great insurance. I'm going to keep my insurance. And I want to know if I do not sign up for Medicare, what kind of penalty I'm going to get when I do. She said, well, when do you plan on? I said, either when I'm 67 or something, whenever I decide to quit. She said, well, here's what you do. When August gets here, you sign up for Medicare Part A. Right then. You sign up and it'll come in effect when December, when I turn 65. I said, okay. She said, that's all you need to sign up for. She said, you have to prove your insurance that you got, so you don't worry about another thing. Now, when you decide to quit work, because I was worried about the penalty, kept hearing about the penalty. She said, when you decide to quit work and retire, here's what you do. You have 8 months, exactly 8 months, to sign up for B or whatever you want to sign up for. She said, what's going to happen? Your Medicare Part A is going to be like a secondary, and your insurance is going to be your primary. When you sign up for your other Medicare and retire, your insurance will be your secondary and your Medicare. I said, that's all I got to do, because I look online and I read, I listen.
Mhm.
I've listened to Peter Wright. I can never memorize everything he says. And I know he's coming back in
Monday.
October.
Oh,
he'll be back
He'll be
Monday.
back.
He'll be back
Oh,
next
Wednesday.
week.
Wednesday.
Well, see, I'm off Wednesday.
You need to
Is he
call
coming here?
Yeah.
Is he coming in
Uh-huh.
Wednesday? I'm off Wednesday. I'm going to be here too.
That might be a good idea.
I would like, but I'm concerned because all I kept hearing was about the penalty.
Mhm.
So she said, That if you'll do that way, you won't have a penalty. I said, well, that's all I'm concerned about.
Lee, can you remember all of what he just said? Because what I was going to do is suggest that you send Peter a question in advance.
No, I'm all for it.
I'll
know
get
that.
it from him and send
So
it
he
to
will
him,
be able to
so,
research
yeah.
because it changes.
Yeah,
See, that's
and
the
that's
other
what
thing I
she
will
said.
warn you about, that
Yeah.
whatever you do in August, September, no, it can change the next year.
Yes, it can.
Especially with the new laws coming out.
Yeah.
But that's what she also said that. She said, keep abreast of it. She said, but that's the way it is right now.
Keep a what?
Abreast. But it was so helpful. The Medicare hotline, she was just the same. And I was surprised when she answered. I know. He's
What's the
dirty.
matter with you?
He's dirty.
Nothing. I needed. That's right.
He's dirty. He's a dog. He's just like I am. He's a dog. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm.
What is wrong with you guys?
Honestly, we're good.
His mind is as bad as mine sometimes.
Apparently, y'all got dirty minds, I'm guessing.
No.
Nope.
No. Nothing like that.
You're filthy.
Can I go back
If you
to
react to it, yeah, you're filthy, right? That's
I mean,
the way it is.
like you were.
I'm not the culprit here. You are.
we have a new word of the day, the misprision that I was
What
saying.
is that word?
It is the deliberate concealment of one's knowledge of a treasonable act or a felony.
I never heard that before in my life.
I ain't neither.
I know, because
I just
was
said
like,
withholding
is this-
information.
is
You're
this
under
a-
arrest. Come on.
It's a real word.
Aiding and abetting.
Yours is
It is.
easier.
It's a real word.
Accessory.
Put your hands behind your back.
Yeah,
And it's like, I was watching a trial and
You know
the
you're not gonna
attorney
go to his
said,
funeral either.
the attorney was questioning a witness and he said, so during the shank of the night, and she goes,
The what?
He's the shank of the night. And it's a real meaning. It means like during the course of the events of the night.
Why didn't he just say that?
Because, you know,
He's
the
got
other
one-
attorney,
He's
He's
a
the one that
blood-sucking attorney.
Educated guys the one that
Right.
baffle you.
shanked. I'm not kidding you because everybody, we were all going like, what?
They'll
What
either
does that
dazzle
mean?
you with their brilliance or baffle you with their Bravo Sierra.
Fake it till you make it.
Well, there was one attorney that was on that case, and whenever he talked, I had to have a Webster dictionary because he can. And we're all of us watching on the feed were making comments like "new word of the day."
Yeah.
I mean, and I was looking them all up. I was actually looking them all
Really?
up to see if they were. And the man is just good. Lord have mercy.
But that made me, like
Tries to confuse you.
I
that's all.
said,
I'm gonna
that
find
made
that
me
shank.
feel a whole lot better
That'd be
about what I
great.
do, and because I really don't want to quit work.
No, I understand
I
that.
don't want to. I like to keep and I want to quit work at 67, but
You-
I'm gonna
you
draw
get
Social
old.
Security. Oh yeah. Hey, so when Friday gets here, both legs are dragging now, so I can feel it.
Yeah.
It used to be one leg,
Yeah, huh?
now it's both.
All right, shank of the night is a phrase that refers to the best or most exciting part of the evening, especially during a party.
Go
It
tell,
suggests that the night is far from over, with shank meaning the tail end of something.
you go to the prison unit and tell them about how good that night's going to be when they got shanked.
That's what.
That's
Because
why I
I'm
was
just
just
like,
thinking about that.
who brought out the shank?
You got shanked. Oh man, we got shanked.
This is the shank of the night for you.
I can understand. I got a. Never mind. I know
No,
the
don't.
shank of the night. Yeah, I got you.
Well, when he said that, I'm thinking, is here nobody got stabbed? I'm like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, learn new words.
Hmm.
That's like when I read some of these stories, I'm like, what? When I come across some of these
You
words.
say, what was the shank of the night when she called me sweet thing? That's the best way to say it.
Doesn't happen often, does it?
No.
I'm just like, wow. Shank of the night.
Oh, my wife, no, she's just, my Saint Diane is the saint. Bless her heart. She's got her name written in every church in 5 counties. If she don't go to heaven, nobody can. Just because she's married to me. Yes, bless her heart. That's all I can say.
They said, you're allowed, but yeah, he ain't.
Well, I told her one night, she started talking about, I said, well, I'm going to escort you up to the steps. I said, they just ain't going to let me in. But she's,
This
Maybe
is-
you could wear a disguise.
that wouldn't work. St. Peter knows me.
Mm.
I guarantee you.
Okay, what else you got?
I was just thinking about all the celebrations going on tonight.
it's
is,
a lot happening.
the news stories last night were about that big explosion at a fireworks.
California.
Yeah.
I think it was.
Somewhere out west, and they're doing an investigation. Yeah, very sad. They're still missing 7 people,
that's terrible.
70 employees. One of them had just found out he was going to be a father. 21. It was his and his brother's first day there. So I think what I was leaning towards mentioning is fireworks are dangerous in the hands of amateurs. Yeah. And it's going to happen tonight. We know it.
Now, fireworks can be dangerous. Let me give you some bad examples, folks, for fireworks. And I think one of them happened in Swansboro some years ago.
I was just going to ask.
The wind picks up. The stuff that goes up in the air is cool. It's hot. It's burning. That's what that glow is from. It's from far. It's a far up there in the sky. And it comes down. And guess what? It's a hot ember at the time it comes down. Professionals have got it down pat, unless the wind suddenly picks up. Had one girl, I guess, no, that was in Wilmington. So that was in Wilmington somewhere. But she got burned and bad by one of those hot embers that came down. I mean, she was scarred, big time scars.
That's terrible.
Over part. And I had to do the photos. The photo studio I had. So they came in for evidence because, they were filing suit, of course.
Sure.
These kinds of things are going to happen. Now, the other thing that's going to happen tonight for you guys that go out to the beaches, these beach houses, let me explain to you. So many of them, well constructed, at the time they were built and they finished, the inspector said, cool, looks good, you pass. Over time at the sea is dangerous. Time with winds, with salt spray, those nails, even the special nails, sometimes they come loose, they give way. And when you overload that deck, last year, the last 5 years, we've had 50 people on this deck, not a problem. But this year you got 10 people up there and something give away. And you come tumbling down. Those decks are not built at the level, at sea level. They're built up there a deck up, a floor or 2 higher, because that's where everybody wants to party. Be careful. If you're hosting one of these parties, you got not only that to be worried about, you got your alcohol consumption to be, you got a lot to be concerned with. If anybody decides, oh, we didn't get any fireworks, where's my gun? I can make plenty of noise. No, every piece of lead that goes up in the sky will come down. It does not go but so far. And when it comes down, if you will go back to the Iraqi war and see those idiots out there with their AK-47s shooting them up in the air, rah, to boom, there were people killed. That's the worst case of friendly fire you've ever seen. The tops of their heads, they had poles in them. That 30 caliber bullet is heavy coming down, and it's traveling at enough speed, not the speed that it went up with, but it will come down at enough velocity to kill you.
Well, what was interesting in the other 2 incidences were in homes.
Yeah.
The fireworks exploded in the homes.
Y'all are stupid. Somebody's stupid.
Somebody,
Why'd they have it in there?
Well, that'll be the shank of the night for me is when I'm standing in the donkey pen. And
holding your dog.
And because Charlie, the little, he's the one that's going to be the worst. And there'll be fireworks going on all around where I stay at, and I'm always outside. Yeah, plus the music.
Go ahead, put some music on.
I always get deputy sheriff come down my driveway. It happens every time. Are you shooting fireworks? Well, no, I'm not. And you sure? Yeah, I'm sure. But they're over somewhere else. But yeah, but it's a beautiful show. I'd stand out in my backyard with the donkeys and mosquitoes. And
working at Cary Beach on 4th of July, every time you get calls, you're sitting out there, you're watching the fireworks. We were. Drive down the beach, get out of the car, walk across those stupid sand dunes through the and go down and say, okay, dudes. And there's one guy that was infamous. I don't know why we didn't put him in jail. We should have. Because every year it had a tractor trailer load of fireworks. I know it was a lot of firecrackers. He couldn't put it in one car.
Yeah.
And he's out on the beach setting them off. It's dangerous. Kids are out there, stuff like I say, burning things, Roman candles, rockets, whatever goes up comes down, and it comes down. It's on fire. It's laying on the. What do kids do on the beach? They don't wear shoes.
Nope.
Okay, come on, and people get burned. They get hurt. I'll never forget that night. My trunk was overflowing with fireworks because I seized them all. And I'm like driving around. I said, I got to go get rid of this stuff. Well, somebody hits me in the rear end. We could have a mess on our hands.
Yeah.
It would be the shank of the evening.
It would be the shank of the evening, airborne. No, I went back to his office and I locked him up in the evidence locker. And the chief said, "What in the is this?" I said, "What I seized last night." "Oh my God, we're a bomb. We're sitting on a bomb." I said, "Well, don't smoke."
Yeah. Don't anybody flick a bic over by locker number 382.
No. So
We're all going up.
So we turned them over to EOD for the sheriff's department's guys, and they take it out and maybe go boom boom.
Oh,
They're
that
bomb
would be
squad.
fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
along with the drugs.
I'm so glad we're done with Fort Fisher down there. That was the worst job. I had to go-
It's pretty
had to go.
down there.
Well, it's beautiful down there, but it's not if you're hauling equipment down 421.
You been that little tiny road?
and the low hanging lines.
Yeah.
And the people look at you,
Uh-huh.
giving you the number one,
Uh-huh.
and you're not supposed to be down here. And I just looked and said, well, according to federal DOT, if it's a U.S. highway, I'm allowed to drive on.
Uh-huh.
And they just tell you that stuff. But they hated it. And it was all the locals. They were fighting because they wanted Fort Fisher.
I'm gonna take this
Right.
call here.
Happy 4th of July, bud.
Happy Independence Day, Mr. Coble. How are you?
I'm doing fine. You outside barbecuing now?
No, I'm talking to you, and you're on the radio right now because I'm on the air until 9 o'clock.
I'm so happy you already got know. Well, happy 4th of July to all your listeners out there.
We appreciate that, John.
Thank you.
And, you're doing okay this morning, right?
Doing great.
Good.
Great.
All right.
Shank of the morning.
Well,
Looking forward to all these parades, fireworks, everything on TV.
yeah. Well, don't have them anywhere where you are. I mean, you don't want them around your house.
No, sir.
Okay.
Just talking about it.
All right, well, thank you, Richard, and again, happy 4th to you.
Thank you. That's John Coble, a great friend of mine for so long.
He's the
If you guys,
Wilmington friend?
yes, a Wilmington friend, one of them, and he's the guy that used to own Trails Inn Restaurant.
Uh-huh.
If you've ever been to Wilmington back in the day,
Yes.
oh yeah, I saw your eyes light up. The bestest food there ever has been in the world of beef.
Oh my
Prime rib,
gosh.
I could kill for that. God, that was good
Oh
stuff.
man.
I get prime rib, and I'd always get a lobster tail to go with it.
Mm.
Oh my!
That was
That's when I could eat like a
I'm
hog.
hangry now. I'm hangry.
that was
He was the man.
I'm glad you brought that name up. That's
He's
a
known
great
him. I've
memory.
known him for so long. He was also my pilot. He flew 170s, and 172s. I think he had a 170, the last plane he had. And I would fly. He would fly me anytime I needed to get pictures. Now, John was also a member of the Coast Guard Auxiliary,
Mhm.
but he was a pilot. So he had his plane specially rigged so it could fly at really slow speeds below the stalling speed without stalling.
Right.
I don't know how he did it, whatever it was. I'm not a pilot. Anyway, he had his rigged out to do that. And we flown down over Carolina Beach to shoot some pictures one day. And coming back up there's an island, Masonburg Island, between Carolina Beach and Riceville Beach, right? It's an uninhabited island. So, except when I landed by helicopter, I'll go there by boat. I did land over there one time in a helicopter just because we wanted to. But we were flying over that and just looking in the surf line like I always did because he knew what I was looking for. I'm looking for any new uncovered wrecks because that whole area is littered with wrecks, Civil War wrecks and otherwise. And anything that was there, I would take a look at it, serious look at it, GPS reading, and I'd go back and check it out, see if there was anything worth diving on. Anyway, we were flying real low, and his restaurant was right there across the Intercoastal Waterway, right on the Intercoastal Waterway. And he said, you got a few minutes? Yeah, still got some film? Yes, John. He said, can you get a shot maybe of my restaurant? I said, absolutely. We were flying so low when we were there over the beach. I said, John, there's a 1946 dime back there we just passed. And he always laughed. And we literally climbed to come over the sand dunes.
Mm.
Yeah, we were at wave top level, not treetop level. There are no trees there. But we climbed to get over the sand dunes to go get shots of that. Came up behind a boat in the intercoastal one day, and the boat, we were flying real slow and real low, and the boat saw this big old shadow. It was a southbound sailboat. This big shadow was covering him, and he couldn't even hear us. He looks up and he said, "Oh my God!" You could read his lips. Oh my God! Then John and I had a lot of good times together, and he's recovering now, and he's doing some rehab, and he's got some great news. He's had some surgery, and he is ready to walk.
Wonderful.
Great to hear.
Ready to
Good
walk
news.
again, my buddy.
Does anybody know a Kayla Hess from Danville, Illinois?
Is Illinois, is that in this country?
I just got an appointment reminder for Thursday, July 10th at 11:30 a.m.
In Illinois?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Appointment with Kayla Hess.
In Illinois.
Yes. Does anybody know Kayla?
Well, I don't know. No.
Kathy,
Never been there. I don't know it.
I did want to ask you about Merritt's. Merritt's Burger House. Did you ever eat there?
Oh,
I mean, he's not open every day, but you can't get in that parking lot.
Oh,
Merritt's Burger House
you
on
talking about
421?
okay, 421.
Yeah. I know you were
There's-
to East WCT.
Yeah,
all the
I
time.
ate there all the time. But there's Merritt's barbecue restaurant. There was on I forgot the name of the road anyway. Out there too. But they had the sweetest tea in the world. Diabetes.
Diabetes.
That's the
But
kind of
I
tea
see
it
him.
was.
He'll be there early in the morning when it's going to open. He's getting
Yeah.
everything ready, and he'll close during the week. He'll close about 2:00. But on say Thursday and Friday, he's open a little bit later. You can't get in.
No, you
Yeah.
circle.
It
You have to
looks kind
circle
of
it.
like Toontabbit used to
You
be.
have to circle it.
You
to get
can't
in.
get in, and I can't. Every time I go by, I think about, man, I need to ask Rayford about that place. You ain't getting in.
Oh yeah, I ate there a whole bunch. It was
Did you?
easy, quick get over there.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you what you're gonna do. You're gonna get waited on by curb girls there, where
Yeah.
you were at that time. Still,
Mm-hmm.
you didn't go walk up and order nothing, honey.
No, yeah,
They came to your car and they said, "What can I get you?" And some of them have been there since they opened up in 1901. But
So they wheel themselves out to the car, huh?
oh no, they're in better
Skate
shape
back,
than anybody that was
Wheel
up there.
themselves.
But that's a great place to eat. Yeah, oh,
I
absolutely.
see it. And I think about you a lot because, right down the road, if you turn down Shipyard, there's WC. I said, I know he
Yeah.
used to come up here and eat.
There are a couple of back ways to get there too.
Oh, yeah.
Without that
I miss
stupid traffic light.
Whitey's. Was it
Whitey's.
Whitey's.
There's
Oh,
stories
Whitey's.
about Whitey's.
Oh,
Lord have mercy.
I ate at Whitey's a many a time
Oh, yeah.
because that's where you would go to a convention.
Mm-hmm.
They have classes and stuff like that over there at the little motel, and you go right there to Whitey's and eat. And oh man, I couldn't.
Might
wait.
remind me to
I'm
talk to you
gonna
about the
ask.
whistling pig.
Whistling Pig.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you about that
Yes.
because I found out something last night about whistling pigs.
Wow.
But anyway, that's all a great place. Whitey's in Wilmington,
Mhm.
Yes.
really, really cool.
Yeah.
They made, it's probably national news because they had a picture that was taken by a local photographer there. Whitey's, they had conventions and stuff there.
Mhm.
Welcomes the NAACP.
Yeah.
They had a meeting, a convention there, the NAACP. Whitey's welcomes in, having their marquee out front. That was hilarious.
We used to go to
He was a great
Whitey's.
guy.
And remember the Piccadilly cafeteria
Yeah.
in the mall?
Oh, yeah.
I don't go to malls.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, we would
Main
go to the
entrance.
How do you
Piccadilly.
spell mall? I spell it MAUL because that's the way I felt.
No,
Too
we
many people,
would go.
too
We would
close.
go to Piccadilly's. We, as a family.
Yeah.
I still like
Sometimes
to go
go
to
to
Casey's when
Whitey's.
I can. That was on the other end of Oleander.
Mhm.
Oh God.
What was the name of it?
Casey's is still there.
I don't
Casey's
know.
buffet.
Flip's Barbecue was really cool out there too. But Merritt's Barbecue House, it was so good. You get dinners or whatever you want, but dinners is at a lunch meal, by the way.
Speaking
It
of
ain't
barbecue,
supper. They get dinners. You could get barbecue. You could get whatever you wanted. They always had specials. So good. Wilmington had some good places to
Yes,
eat.
they do. Yeah,
They
yeah.
used to have a lot of them.
Yeah, we used to go as a family. We used to go to Wilmington all the time to go out to eat.
Yeah.
And like I say, Whitey's, if it was in the morning time, we always would go there for breakfast. And for dinners,
If you went there for breakfast, you found 4 highway patrol cars parked there just before sign on. Because they always went there for breakfast and for lunch.
I just know I loved going there as a kid. It was great.
I loved going to Jones Seafood in
Yes.
Ogden.
Yep.
Make a trip there on Sunday morning, get there about just as soon as they open. Oh, my God.
Good place. They had lots of good places.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, guys, have a great, all of y'all are
Yes,
up and listening
safe.
this morning. Have a great Independence Day. Celebrate it for what it is about. Remember, while you're blowing stuff up and fishing and boating and swimming and doing whatever, eating, remember what the day is all about, first thing. And, give thanks to all of those who made this possible for us over
Right.
the last 250 some years.
Mhm.
God, that's been a long time.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
has been.
I remember our 200th anniversary, the bicentennial.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Mike and Dave and Sneeze Ferry, my hat's off.
Oh, yeah, you boys.
Appreciate y'all listening. I really do. And
Hey,
we'll
Mike.
get
Hey,
something going.
Dave.
And call in. I told y'all to call in sometime. Just call in and say,
I'll be
hey.
heading up that way Monday. So, Mike and Dave, where you going to be?
Yeah.
Sneeze Ferry?
It'd probably be at
Yeah,
Madison.
Madison.
Madison's.
Well, go in there for lunch. I'm taking my sister for lunch there. So.
Where are you going?
Good place to go.
Madison's.
Madison's.
Well, we're going to go to Sneeze Ferry and go around do some of our thrift stores we like to do. So we'll stop at Madison's for lunch. Yesterday we stopped at a place in Havelock, No Name Pizza. If you've ever been there, it was excellent.
And where?
And in Morehead City, it's right
Is it
in this
Beaufort or in Morehead City?
Morehead City.
There's
It's
a
called
no-name pizza in Beaufort too.
Yeah, well, this is right there in the shopping center where you have Lowe's and Walmart and all that. It's on the edge, and very, very good. For breakfast, we stopped at a place in Swansboro. I'll never go again. It was
Don't
not
mention the
good.
name.
So, no, it was just my preference. No, but
For
it was a bad trip.
a fee, we won't mention your name.
No, I mean it was just like sometimes you have hit and misses, and yesterday was definitely a miss on the breakfast, but the lunch was excellent. So.
Good.
Well, if I ever go to Morehead City on a social visit,
Mhm.
I'm going to Cox Family Restaurant. I
I've
can't go.
Never
anymore.
been there. I've heard so much about
I
it.
don't
Robbie
think I
used to
have
go, but
either.
I just need to make a trip over there.
I-
I'd like to eat my way through Swansboro and Morehead, to be honest with you. Spend about 3 days. Just
What is the name of the restaurant you get off of? You're going up through New Bern, you're heading over towards Havelock, and it's right there in James City. It's a little restaurant, it's a family owned. We went in there not long ago and had lunch, and I had the fried steak, the like chicken steak
country
with
fried steak.
country fried steak
Yeah.
with mashed potatoes and gravy. Oh Lord. I just wanted to lay my face in the plate. It was so good. It was so good.
I'm getting hungry now.
I
'Cause
love
I've
it.
been trying not to eat a whole lot while work
Yeah.
is gone, so I can lose a couple, 3 pounds, and so she'd be safe. That's pretty cool.
Why she think she'd be
Oh.
coming back to a stranger or something?
Yeah.
So the No Name Pizza in Beaufort is now the No Name Pizza in Morehead.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, so it's the same place, but no
They
longer.
moved it.
Yes. That's what Steve
Well,
just
how am
said.
I going to
but-
find
Yeah.
it?
Oh, it's very easy to find. Just take 24, and when you get to the shopping center and you see the Belk sign and the Walmart sign,
No, I don't
turn
look at
there
that
and just
stuff.
head like you're heading towards Highway 70 to the parking lot. It's right there. You can't miss it.
Yes, I can.
Yeah, you probably can.
Yes, I can. You people
Hey
got
Tim,
me.
listen, where you? I'm over here. How'd I get there?
Yeah, that's what I had to call Tim one day.
How do I get out of the parking lot?
I ran him through 9 Mile, Cypress Creek.
Oh. See,
I won't
he
go
got
that
out
way.
though.
I don't like those back
No
roads.
bullet holes.
Don't like the back roads.
Okay, guys, have a great rest of your day and a great weekend.
Yeah.
Don't
Happy
make us
weekend.
talk about you on Monday.
Yeah.
So be
Yep.
be really nice. Slow your
That's right.
butts down on the water or on the road. Be kind. No road rage. None of that stuff. People are going to be out there. They're going to have little issues that happen. You never know. If you see somebody with issues pull over beside the road, she's 80 years old, get out and help her for God's sakes.
really.
Come on.
Do
Be
it.
patient out there.
That's what we're here for.
That's right.
We don't need no government help to do that.
No.
You're live and local Real Talk. Thank you, Tim, Chris.
Pleasure.
We'll see y'all Wednesday.
We'll see you Wednesday. We're gonna see you probably Monday or
Okay.
likely.
I
Well,
don't know. I think Kelly
check.
will be back Monday.
Okay.
We'll find
We'll
out, but
double
I'm
check.
sure she will be.
Okay. Well, you're welcome anytime.
Unless
Okay.
something else comes up, because that girl has no luck at all.
Okay.
I swear.
We'll keep a good thought.
Now you just jinxed her
Yeah,
again.
jinx
You
her
know what?
maybe by saying that. Then
Kelly, I'll turn her mic
Was
off
that-
if you like. Have a great weekend, y'all, and we will see you on Monday. Bye.